Yeah, but I'm getting the tweets and the posts out like I do. Hey, I'm on. Uh, hold on. I'm test. Is the microphone too loud? I had to. I need your help, Steve, because I'm trying to test the levels here. It's loud. Okay. Let me give me a second here. Okay, is that better or is that still too loud? So now the music is a touch low. Yeah. This song is a little okay, maybe a touch loud. Let me drop it a little bit. The music there, it just started slow or started low. Let me know if this is okay. Or I can actually turn the music up a little bit. Um let's try that. That sounds good? Okay. I'm gonna leave it here. If it gets too quiet or too loud, just let me know. Um and then let's see here. Ping it via text? Okay, thanks. Um how's I'm gonna turn the music up a little. I think that's probably still too. I don't want the music to be too loud, it'll just be kind of like background. Is that How's that for the music? Is that good? Oh, I'm finishing eating dinner. I was running a little behind tonight. Okay. I can drop it a little bit. What's good, Spiritual Tea? How are you today? How's your evening going? We're just getting things started here. What's good with you? Good. How about you? I'm doing really well. I'm eating dinner right now. Yeah, Mike might be a little bit loud right now just because when there's two of us, it's like in between. It's a little further away. Welcome in, everybody. Echo will be here soon. He's right across from me.
Did you show me?
Huh?
I just cleared it.
Oh, are you almost ready? Okay.
I'll go grab a drink.
What's for dinner? What's going on, Dioptic Turtle? I've got some Korean beef, rice, and bok choy that I made last night.
Drinking mustard casserole.
Echo will be here in like a minute or two. But welcome in. We're going to be talking about mental health today, mostly. And pretty much mostly about different types of mental illnesses, some of the ones that maybe people don't talk about too much. Try to get some Q&A going. I also have a sour beer here. It's pretty good. It's not the best I've had, but decent. Well, how are you guys doing tonight? Sorry, I'm almost done with dinner, and then I can be talking more. It's turned to an eating stream.
Mukbang!
Mukbang.
Mukbang stream.
Here's your thing.
Yay.
Ah,
Oops, I'm ripping it out of your ear.
he's here.
Should I like
Kind of.
scoot back more? Ow, that hurt.
Maybe don't do that.
Don't pick your desk.
Yeah.
Hello, hello.
Hello, it's Echo. Curiosity, I'm hungry. Let me go make some food. Okay.
Yes, make some food.
Broken plates from Boston. Gonna be cold AF on Friday though.
Oh, I see. Oh, sorry.
Said, hey Echo.
Hello, hello.
Dioptic turtle.
Galactic? You're better at reading usernames than I am.
Yeah.
Reading usernames is a challenge.
Reading is a challenge.
Yes, it is. Especially usernames, because people spell them in all kinds of different ways, and it's... I don't know what that means.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Tonight's stream is sponsored by Aha! Sparkling water.
Ah! This one is the citrus green tea.
Mm-hmm.
It has caffeine.
It's also not actually sponsored by them. I just think it's funny to say it.
Yeah. But if they want to sponsor.
I'm a little sad you don't remember me, but I also don't remember if I ever told you my handle in college. I'm gonna guess that that's John.
John OTD.
Maybe? Would be my guess, but I'm not 100% sure. Could be someone else.
Was it someone from the dorms?
You're correct,
Hey!
depending on which Sean.
There we go.
Isn't it like the... I forget.
With the curly hair and glasses.
Yeah.
Your hair still as long, or do you cut it shorter now?
What's going on, Sean? Oh, also, I can move this here.
Yeah,
so
move it there, because I'm going to be like awkwardly looking to the
My
side
bad.
otherwise.
Yeah,
That's going to be...
I'll be better. We're more looking into
That way we're kind of...
camera. I also made a new scene, like this one.
Ooh, I like that one.
But I need to update a little bit. Cut it way shorter. I like the shaved sides of these. Hey, it's pretty in right now.
Nice.
To move this. Go. Almost. People's username. Whoa,
Hey.
Lucid!
Oh, hi.
Hold on, I gotta move that thing up. Hey, Lucid,
You
you
wanna
are
keep it, like, right there?
you are the best. Let's give a shout out to Lucid here. That worked? Oh god, I did.
How'd you hear about this, Sean?
There we go. Everyone go follow Lucid, he's awesome.
Oh, who's that?
He's
that one of your
another
friends?
streamer from the UK.
Is that the person who's getting ready to do stuff full time?
No, that was someone else. Don't follow me, follow Bailey.
Mm-mm.
Hey, follow both of us.
Yeah. Plenty of follows.
Oh, Dan's Facebook.
Oh,
Real?
okay. I don't even use Facebook anymore.
You don't?
Uh-uh.
I don't use it as much. How are you doing? What you guys sipping on? I am sipping pretty.
I want to try a more
It's
sour
a
beer than that.
it's a sour
one's
beer.
just
It's a fruited sour, and Echo's got Aha
And water.
citrus and green tea sparkling water with caffeine.
I feel like it's partially your fault, but I've gotten into more into drinking like LaCroix and stuff like that, just because it's like more than water. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Welcome James.
Water gets
Forage,
boring
so
very
awesome.
quickly.
Fuck Facebook. I uninstalled it from my life entirely. That's the way to do
Yeah.
it, man.
I have it.
I pretty much just keep it for family and for like managing my Baileycream page.
Yeah. I should
It's
use
nice. Yeah,
mine.
it's pretty good.
I use
know.
it sometimes for Facebook Marketplace, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome without Facebook. Yeah, I remember you here, James.
Now I'm like a
Yeah, it is good
Twitter
for marketplace.
person.
Yeah.
All the tweets.
Well, and you're on YouTube too.
Well, work, yeah, but I mean, in terms of like the social media I consume, it's like all Twitter.
This might dovetail with some later combos, but I think sometimes Facebook scratches the same itch self-harm did when I was a shitty teen.
All social media,
Yeah,
man, like
I think
it can get addictive real quick.
I think
I think my boy wants to go outside.
okay, go let the dog
I'll
out.
be right back.
Echo BRB. Yeah, she works on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and type Echo Gillette, she's big in like the art community. And so she's pretty much a full-time YouTuber right now, doing like mostly art stuff, but also other things.
It's so I was diagnosed with like mild ADHD, and all of my channel is just like that hyperfixation for that week of just like I really am suddenly into sewing, so I'm just gonna sew a giant hot dog, turn my couch into a giant hot dog, or make like
that was
24-foot octopus just because.
Or there was a whole video about Penis Man.
Yeah, I made a whole video about Penis Man.
Everyone's gonna say, "What the heck is Penis Man?" Well,
yeah, I don't know who's.
We can talk about that later.
Arizona, but he was a big deal. He was a local legend for a little bit.
Who let the dogs out? It was Echo. Echo let the dogs out. Finally have an answer to the Baja Man question. So James says she's helped inspire me to make my own animations.
Yeah, my animations are garbage,
cool.
But
yeah, this says that's cool AF. Not gonna lie, you famous.
Yeah, not YouTube is so big now, it's just kind of like mildly normal. Like last time I checked it was like 2,000, but it's way more now. Channels that have at least 1 million subscribers. So like making a living on YouTube is really not easy. It's really common. You just have to find like the right niche and build a channel.
Yes, Echo was also on BoJack. You want to tell them about that?
Yeah,
BoJack
that
Horseman.
Was fun. Yeah, well, on BoJack Horseman, I voiced a character in the last season. I believe it's season 6.
She was like the bunny.
Yeah, her name is Maud. She's like the lady character of one of my
YouTube's the new TV.
Characters. Yeah, it feels like
Hi, Betsy.
YouTube and Twitch.
She's here.
Hello.
Like old cable, where you just put that odd tube.
Yeah, the BoJack thing was fun. It was weird too.
Betsy,
getting a taste of Hollywood.
Dioptic Turtle is Sean from college.
Yeah, Sean's here.
Boston Sean.
With the glasses and the curly hair that's not long and curly anymore.
How you guys know? We know each other from college.
Yes.
Also, yeah.
We have a person in common. My roommate is now his wife.
Yes. So my wife was roommates with her in college.
Yeah. Who did? I think I knew her first, technically, only by like a month or two. Right? Because I remember her introducing me to you when we were living in Hayden and we were still in different rooms when we were neighbors. So when did you guys start going to church? Because you guys met through the church.
Yeah, mostly, but we didn't actually start hanging out until like a few months after.
Yes, so she knew me first, but it was probably like by a month at most.
Boston Sean TM.
Oh like yeah, it. Boston Sean is a better way to remember it. That's where you were originally from, correct? Whoa.
Yeah. So yeah, tonight we're going to be kind of talking about
various mental health issues. I feel like we should mention. So I've been formally diagnosed with depression and anxiety and mild ADHD.
And I have bipolar disorder.
Yeah, so we are medicated up.
Yeah.
Because otherwise living is not possible. It's it's weird.
So if you have any specific questions about bipolar or depression or anxiety, we can answer those pretty well. Yes, Steve here, Tumo Fish, has massive ADHD, so he's a good one to have. Also, my sister has really bad OCD, so got that.
Oh yeah,
too.
my older sister. Oh, I don't know if I should. Well, I have my older sister has, or at least had, schizophrenia, and I don't know if she's still taking medication for it. And then I have another relative who also has been formally diagnosed with ADHD. Much more severe than mine, but
the same way that everyone who is from Boston, suburbs. I actually live in Boston. Nice.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, we're in Phoenix.
Yeah, still in Phoenix, but moving to Washington State for the summers. I'm gonna start snowbirding because my job can be done from anywhere.
I'm gonna move my water over here.
I'm very excited to get out of the heat and snow at the same time.
Yeah, so Steve diagnosed in 1990 officially, but the doc was pretty sure I had it at 1985.
I'll close the back door. I left it open.
Oh, yeah, go for it. Yeah. Man, it's been cold in Phoenix. I don't know. We pretty much got snow the other day. Like, literally, like, I mean, it wasn't like heavy snow. It was just like a little bit, but it was like, this is snow. What the hell? Right before I left Phoenix, I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, and I've had major depression since 1999 or so.
One that we were actually talking about a couple days ago, about how, so the depression and anxiety are, and I guess OCD too. OCD a little bit, but they're like, that was his static.
You wanna see the dog?
Yes, see the dog. Look.
There's a dog.
Look, it's hard to see because he's dark.
Yeah, he's a dark
boy, but that's his dog nose and his dog face. His eyes.
This is like the worst angle, but he's chilling down there.
His name is Ben.
Yes.
The cutie. We also call him Bob.
Yes. Yes. Snow and hail. And then you're talking about
so we were talking about this earlier because like depression, anxiety, and kind of OCD have been like the Overton window has shifted on them to at least the point now where people recognize that it's like depression isn't just being a little sad or having a bad day, that it's like an actual imbalance in your brain. It's like a chemical problem and it's real. So the Overton window has shifted to the point where they're more normalized, but the downside to that is that like everything's a spectrum. So you also end up getting some romanticization, whatever
that
the
word
is. You get some people, I feel like it's mostly like, I want to say Tumblr teens, but that's not even like really a thing anymore. But you get people who like romanticize these illnesses.
Mm-hmm. And then there's still there's still some that are like no one really talks about. Like I feel like depression and anxiety have kind of been normalized.
They've been normalized in like the public idea of mental health. But things like schizophrenia, bipolar, and there's another one we were talking about.
Suicide's one too that people still don't really talk about.
Things that are still not understood, like Tourette's, things that are just not publicly, I don't know, there's not really like solid representation, and so people still don't understand them, and they're not normalized yet. Yeah.
So James said my mom's is odd, as I really think she has a mild ADHD. She's never been looked into about it, but she can't even watch a 2-minute video without getting distracted by something. That's possible. But like ADHD is something that I think maybe I'm not gonna say people misdiagnose it a lot because I'm not sure on like the statistics. But I feel like, and by the way, here I don't know if you guys can see. This is a terrible.
No, you have to turn down the light on your phone.
Oh.
Turn on the brightness.
Okay, hold on. Oh.
Might be a little bit too much.
That's too much. Okay. Well, there was snow.
In the middle. Put it in the middle.
The middle?
Right there.
Oh, and I also have my blue light filter. That probably doesn't help.
That's probably not helpful.
Okay. There you go. So that's like the side of our house.
That's snow. That's like ice.
Oh, that's
it's autocorrect. It's auto lighting.
Anyway, there was a little bit of snow on the side.
Yeah.
Not a ton. It wasn't like snowing. It's just I noticed that like there was snow like just on the edges of our house.
Like 100 snow cones worth. More than 100 snow cones.
Yeah, still
A
a thing.
lot of ice.
Additional issues
It
come
was
from
sky
quasi-normalization. Everyone is a little OCD. No, they are not.
See,
No,
that's
yeah,
like
that's...
the spreading of the Overton window. It's like once it.
Uh-oh. Hold on.
Did he?
That happens sometimes.
Okay,
The
ooh.
cables are a
I
little...
was afraid that
No,
like
just
bended.
our
That I was like,
no, our
what?
monitor just sometimes if I hit the table too much, they just turn off.
It's
Anyway.
one of those things where it's like once it gets normalized, it's like it becomes acceptable for the people who have it in the public eye to have it, but then you also get people who think they have it because it's normalized. Does that make sense? It's like all of it's a spectrum. Whole Overton window shifting over.
Yeah, and yeah, I think if people say that like, oh, I have a little OCD about this, and it's like, it's not really OCD. Like that's a mental illness that,
like it's a
unless you're a psychiatrist, you can't really answer that. And just a disclaimer, neither of us are like medical professionals.
Yeah,
or
we're just people who have experienced the mental disorders, not.
Yeah, we can't offer like we can't diagnose or offer medical advice. We just have our own personal experiences and thoughts on things, and maybe like a little research that we've done.
Yes, and we can share our experiences, but that's all we got for you.
Yes, that's always fun. And Eka has a good point about depression as a spectrum rather than static diagnosis. Some people can be treated with regular talk therapy, while others need some type of chemical intervention.
Yeah,
that's true.
Like,
and what sucks is everyone's different, right? Like you'll have some people that like maybe just therapy is enough for them, and there's other people where like maybe therapy doesn't work at all, and they need heavy medication. And
yeah, it's like with my ADHD, where I have like mild medication. It's not like the Ritalin or what's the other one that people take? It starts with an A.
He probably knows.
It's the one that everyone buys off of everyone
Adderall?
else when they're Adderall. Thank you.
Yeah, that one.
I've never had Adderall. I've never had Ritalin. Never had any of those like ADHD medications. I'm on like a mild one for memory. I can't remember what it's called, but like I just renewed it today. I know it's funny, but I honestly never learned the name of it.
I don't remember it.
Yes, but see, this
I don't
is why
know
I
if it's
need the
working
help.
for you.
This is why I need the help. It actually made like a severe difference to the point where it's like when you have your phone, you're working on it, and then suddenly you don't have it, and you don't remember where you put it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that was like dramatically decreased when I started taking the medication. Like there was an actual noticeable difference of just like I wasn't just like blanking on things as easily.
Yeah,
which was really nice.
Jason, when I was young, I was told about this unbalanced thing.
Atomoxetine, I think that's what it's called.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
But I was all about keeping it all natural and keeping off pills or anything like that because I was afraid of becoming someone completely different. That's fair.
My fear is losing access. That's like my biggest fear.
Yeah.
So it's like I have a
Medicare can be a whole nother day, I think, but like we can talk about that a little bit.
Health insurance and stuff. But yeah, so like my constant fear is like most of my medications I could like work with alternatives. Like it would really suck to lose a lot of my medications. But it's like I could if I had to just start using like St. John's wort and ashwagandha and like more like herbal like natural, does that make sense? Like things, they would not work as well as my actual medication, but it's one of those things that I have thought about because I'm constantly afraid that I'm just going to lose access to my medication because like depending on where you also if you're on medication, research where they're from because different places charge different amounts. My antidepressant meds cost $200 at Walgreens without insurance and $16 at Fry's.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's I think there's an app you can get. I forget what it's called. I think I have it though. Which is I don't. Well, if I can find it later, I'll Good RX, I think is what it's called.
Oh.
So you can use that to compare like prescription drug prices at different places.
That's a good idea.
But oh hey, Mel's here.
Fry's Pharmacy. Hi Mel. Fry's Pharmacy is the cheapest one that I've seen thus far.
Anton, you made it through VidCon without Adderall?
I made it through college without Adderall. I remember finding out that like the amount of people in my program, like I swear, like 70% minimum, and that's just people who were like, hey, do you have Adderall? I'm just gonna be taking Adderall that week, or just like who just kind of like hint at it or joke about it and stuff. And it's like, I never took drugs when I was in college to like increase performance. It was all me. And now I'm like totally
I
brain dead.
didn't either. Well, I mean, caffeine's, I guess, technically a drug. I did have a lot of that.
There you go. I was like hardcore energy drinks and like caffeine, but never like buying drugs off other students.
Yeah. Let's say welcome. Hi, Tombsters, James, Zordoon. Welcome in. Let's try to get caught up on these chats. I was afraid because of the way I was introduced when I was young was a Cure and a Jekyll and Hyde thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's something I want to talk about later about bipolar, like depiction in film and media is often a lot like that. Like complete. I mean, yeah. But there's all different kinds, like shades of bipolar that they don't really. Access is a huge issue. Have a good stream, Sir Creamy Bailey. Thank you. Costco's also have the pharmacy that's cheaper.
Yes, that is true. That's where I get my allergy meds from.
And tapering off a medication too fast, withdrawal sucks.
I did that once accidentally. That can happen.
That's why, like, if you are like, never just like stop taking a medication because like, oh, I feel better now, I'm gonna stop. Because a lot of times you can relapse into whatever was happening before.
That happened to me before when there was like a gap in my insurance where it was just like I had to go, I think it was 2 weeks without my medication. And I knew it was like a week. And so I was like tapering off my medication, but I still did it too fast. It was like over the course of like 4 or 5 days where it was just like halved or something. And that week was just like full 180 awful. It really made me remember what it was like to be without the medication in the first place.
Steve said I had a guy in my engineering program was constantly trying to buy my ADHD meds off me.
Yeah.
Yep, I think that was the problem when we were in college, is just people buying Adderall and
100%.
So Mel says, I'm afraid of not being able to get my current meds.
Yeah, like we were just talking about that. That's like one of the fears that is always in the back of my head is like, what if I lose access to my medication? Because it's like, I can't make my medication out of nothing, and it's something that I need. Like, I actually need antidepressants because otherwise, like, I'm just miserable. Like,
yeah, there
like
was
having. Oh, hello.
Whoa, Lucid with. Oh man, Lucy, you didn't have to do that. Got the tier 1 sub gift to Tombsters. Thanks, man. That you don't even have to do that, but I appreciate it.
They said something too.
Yeah, so I had a high dose of Adderall forced on me for 10 years. Yeah, that sucks. And that's something that happened to one of my good friends, Brian, when he was younger. Like, basically, his mom thought he had ADHD, but looking back, he was like, oh, thanks for the host, man. Looking back, he was like, I did have a lot of sugar, and I think my mom just
misunderstood.
Yeah. And anyway, so misdiagnosis happens, and it sucks.
It's one of those things where it's like it's gonna be like a spectrum, because it's like it's depending on what's the norm, you're gonna have some outliers in both directions. But like, it's what I was watching, but it was like a documentary that was talking about how it's better to have like overdiagnosis than underdiagnosis. Does that make sense? Where it's better that we've shifted in a more overdiagnosing way. At the same time, it's like the medication is very strong.
Yeah, well, at least medical advancement has definitely improved over the last 100 years. So what could have been misdiagnosed 20 years ago, maybe now they just have more research, they've done more studies on it. Shasta, I did have a nasty detox process off of the SNRI I was on after I turned 26 and couldn't afford insurance anymore.
SNRI.
So that sucks. Fun fact, SNRI, it's, I forget what the exact term. It's like serotonin.
Well, that's
something.
I'm on like
inhibitor.
an SSRI, which is the
that's the one
serotonin
I'm
uptake serotonin something uptake inhibitor, something like those. But I'm not sure what the N is.
Yeah, Tombsters. I work in a care home for people that have mental health, and bipolar is almost never represented properly. I hate it. Yeah, me too.
Okay, can I throw out the best depression representation I've ever seen? Ironically, it's in BoJack.
Oh, really?
One of the main characters gets depression, or she like had. She realizes throughout the series that she had depression, gets diagnosed, puts on a lot of weight, and is happier than like she was before, and it affects her writing process, where it's like she feels like she's uninspired, she can't do anything now, and so she like goes off of her medication to try and be re-inspired and have that like dark brooding brain thing. But no, she's just miserable now and still bad at writing, and it's just like a horrible mental block. And I totally get that. Like it's such real representation, because like all of that
could probably be a whole episode. It's just like representation of
oh my gosh, yeah,
mental
we should
illnesses
take notes.
in film.
You should.
Oh yeah.
Here's this.
Do you want to just
or do you want to type it?
Either one. I could just open a notepad.
Yeah, just open a notepad. Throw up a like.
I had some questions I wanted to talk about later, but if you want to, you can just type it here, or you can just whatever. Okay, so Attack of the Goats. Hello, welcome in.
Oh, I like that.
An Xbox hippie. Hello, I remember you. I think from Mixer, right?
What
Those were.
We just said.
About what now?
That this was the previous one we just talked about. Oh, representation.
Oh, representation in media. Yeah. All right, let's try to get caught up here. No worries, wholesome stream. Well, thanks, man. Your streams are pretty good too. I'm not gonna lie. You're a really funny guy.
Was that one?
Lucid. Yeah. I think overdiagnosis is still a big issue. That's true, especially like with people that are so busy, and like even like medical professionals, they might just like, okay, I'm gonna diagnose this to like go home early,
yeah.
you know.
Or like the downside is like with America specifically, we have like the opioid epidemic, which is a huge problem. Yeah, and I feel like it's not great with OCD because with ADHD, just because the medication for it can be addictive. Yes, but it's not like you can get addicted to SSRIs or whatever they are.
Yeah, definitely substance abuse is something to. Also, I think there are definite treatment issues and stigmas that come about from children being treated. It's so hard to nail down when one person is making care decisions about someone else's mental health.
Yeah, that's another one, is like mental diagnosis in children. See, this is one where it's like I would have benefited so much from like if I had been actually diagnosed with depression as a child, because I realized like this is something I've had all my life, and I've had therapists since I was in third grade. I don't remember what age I was, but it's like that's when I had my first public breakdown, and the teachers had to like pull me away, and my teacher like pulled me away and put me in a closet because she didn't know what to do, and I was just having this complete breakdown, and she was panicking because this has never happened before, and this is a third grader. Why is this happening? And that was one of the first things that put me in therapy for like all throughout school. And it's like if I had just been put on antidepressants, that probably wouldn't have been as big of a deal. And it makes me really sad too, because I've realized my mom for sure had mental issues that she did not get properly addressed. Which sucks.
That's another thing is like, especially people that are older, they might like not seek help because they don't think that there's an issue.
Yeah.
And they'll self-medicate with alcohol or.
And that's essentially what she did
like
too.
So Tombster said BoJack was generally very accurate about the representation of mental health.
They did such a good job.
Yeah, that's a great
so much
show.
of the representation was really incredible.
Little
raunchy,
shout
out to Maud. That was the name of my character.
Oh, okay. It was very cool hearing your voice on the show. Love that show. No, this isn't Mrs. Bailey. This is Echo. She's a friend.
Yeah, Mrs. Bailey's upstairs. Also here. She's in the chat somewhere.
Yeah, she's watching, I think.
I like that. I like the idea of calling her Mrs. Bailey.
Yeah. People tend to misunderstand bipolar so much. Yeah, and that's why. Coming in faintly. I'll just talk a little louder, I guess.
Oh, am I further away from the mic than you? No, Maybe. Your voice just carries.
I'm just loud. In the UK, I've cared for people who have been stuck with an incorrect diagnosis for too long because their diagnoses have been made incorrectly and they're stuck with it. Yeah, that's something that sucks. I mean, but the thing is also like you can always go to another medical professional
Yeah.
and try to get
It
re-diagnosed.
sucks when you don't realize it though. Like
Yeah, or if you're on
Jade,
medication for something, it's kind of hard to just
it's like
switch. But
autism.
it does happen.
Autism in women is something that previously people in the medical field were like, women just don't get autism for some reason, but it turns out that it just presents differently because women tend to be better at mimicking behavior, so they're better at looking normal than boys with autism. And my younger sister just recently, like as of the last year or so, she was working on getting a formal diagnosis for her autism, but I don't know if she's finished everything yet. But she was seeing a person for it. Yeah.
Okay. So James said, I have younger siblings who are autistic, and I went to school with mental kids, and I've learned to help and teach people about what they do with their approach to someone with whatever they seem to be. Yeah, that's good. A lot of people don't know how to do that, so
Yeah.
it's good that you know, and thanks for your help with, or I guess they're your siblings. Cool, but yeah, I think a lot of people sometimes have difficulty on figuring out how to deal with people with mental illnesses or with things like autism. And that's something I kind of want to talk about, but let's just get caught up on the chat here. No one feels neglected. Mel, I've never had an addiction, but I've had morphine while in the hospital. I completely understand how someone can get addicted to that feeling.
Same.
Yeah.
I've at the same time, like, okay, so I've had morphine when I had my gallbladder attack, and they gave me morphine through like an IV drip, and it stopped the pain immediately. But I was still freaking out because I was like, there's still something wrong with me. I just can't tell. And it felt like, the way that I described it was like having like a monster in your room and then someone coming in and being like, oh, I'll fix it, and then just turning off the lights. It's like, it's still there. It's just dark now. You can't see it. You can't feel it.
Yeah, that's
It's still there though. But yeah, so like it was still super terrifying. But I can totally understand how it would be addictive.
Yeah.
Like what's the other one? There's an anti-nausea med. This is so silly, but ondansetron, I think that's what it is. It's an anti-nausea medication that is given to cancer patients, and it's the best medication that I've ever had in my whole life. And it's one of those things where it's like $16, $10 to $16 a pill. Like, the prices on it have been like driven out. Like, it's very
expensive.
Monopolized. It's one of those things that's like big pharma that everyone's like, meh.
Yeah.
That's one of the really bad ones because it's like, it's for cancer patients. Like, you need it. And I was given like 10 pills, and it cost me almost $200, even with insurance and stuff, of this medication for my gallbladder after my surgery. And it stops nausea like that, like better than anything I've ever had in my life. And so like whenever I get a stomach ache, it's just like really like some of that fancy medication.
But it's kind of like more like a Band-Aid than an actual.
Yeah, but it just immediately stops feeling in your stomach, which is really great.
Hello, Gear, welcome.
Hey.
Seen you before. And one, welcome in. Hey to both of you. Hey, Xbox. Okay, Betsy's here. Betsy D. That's my wife. I just made her a VIP.
She's upstairs.
My younger sister is awesome. It's great that you made the effort to learn more about it. Jen Ricky, that's my mom. Hi, Mom.
Oh, hey. Hey, it's nice to well, I can't see you, but it's nice to see you.
Yeah,
it's nice to see you in the chat.
The Bailey mom. I've been told by
Mama Bailey
that I have. I think that's the issue with the American medication. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we could spend a whole session just talking about American health insurance and the issues that are around it and accessibility.
Yeah, so Gear says, I often help a lot of people who message me or tell me IRL that they wanted to commit or try to, and then they tend to tell me months later meeting you really helped. Yeah, that's another thing. You don't really know the effect you're going to have on someone sometimes until months or years in the future, you know?
Yeah.
And
And like, that's another one that we were going to talk about is like the suicidal episodes suck so very much. I've had 2 really bad episodes when I was like having been on medication. And that's one of those things, the first, actually maybe it was the second one, but one of them I realized you're not supposed to mix alcohol with antidepressants, which I did not previously know because I just didn't drink alcohol. And then when I went to VidCon, there was just free alcohol everywhere, and I was like, okay, sure, I'm just gonna enjoy this. And so for like, there was like 3 days where I was just like drinking alcohol at night, and then it was like on the last day I just had like a really, really bad breakdown.
Because alcohol is a depressant.
And so, it like wipes stuff out of your body.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of like alcohol or sometimes even other things like marijuana and other substances like that.
Anything that kind of like
it might not necessarily give you a bad interaction, but it could reduce the effectiveness of whatever you're taking. Like for me, like I can't drink too much alcohol, or like
my doctor said not.
Like I can't sleep at night because one of the medications I take is quetiapine or Seroquel, and that has like a mild sedative effect to it. And like if I drink way too much alcohol, like I'm gonna be up until like 3 or 4 in the morning. Like I have to.
Oh, that's another one. The sleep effects.
Yeah.
That one sucks.
Okay, let's try to get caught up here.
Go for it.
And Xbox hippie, oops, anxiety, manic depression, inability.
I think that's
to
the one that
change.
like ended the sentence.
Oh yeah. Okay, so that's what you have. Yeah, I actually have a really hard time coping with change as well. Also,
I'm the opposite. I thrive on chaos.
Oh.
Like when things get too stable,
Steve told me
out.
For him with his ADHD, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you said like just having a like routine is really good for people with ADHD, but a change to the routine can like really like mess you up. Excuse me. And then let's just, there's so many chat. Thank you guys for talking. This is awesome. It's like taking I'm not gonna try to say that. Maxilon when you're sick to make you stop being sick. Metoclopramide.
Something along those lines.
It was before the pandemic, but I had a classmate who going to school with among those kids who I helped a lot until I graduated. After a sad loss of contact, I heard after that he had passed. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. One of my good friends committed suicide a few years ago, so yeah, no, I know how you're feeling with that.
Yeah, that's really hard.
And I can talk about that later too.
Having like, I mean, it sucks, but it also is like with my mom. So essentially, what had happened with my mother was that she survived cancer. She had ovarian cancer. Survived it, and then got it again later in life with her like other ovary, and essentially just gave up at that point and drank herself to death. Like rather than trying to fight the cancer anymore, she was just like, no, I'm just gonna die. I'm just gonna like flutter out from here. And it's one of those things where it's like, when I was a kid, I was always like, I can't believe we weren't worth fighting for, that you would just like let yourself die like that. And I was always really angry. And then having like grown up and experienced what's like a normal state of existence is, like having like an actual, like being normal mentally, like experiencing life without depression, and then remembering what it's like to experience like suicidal episode, I feel like I get it now. And I'm like, okay, yeah, like I understand why she did this, like why she went through this and was just like, I can't do it anymore. And it's like, I totally don't blame her, because it's like life is hard, especially.
It is. That's there's a good quote, I forget who said it. I think it was someone who, like, you hear those stories of people who like drown and then like get resuscitated, and and it was like some guy who had like a near-death experience like that, and he was like, you know, like death is easy, it's living that's the hard part.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting.
It's very true. It's very appropriate, and it's also one of those things where it's like death is easy and dying is hard, which is kind of a good thing. That like dying is a difficult thing to do.
Yeah. It's difficult,
yeah.
but also, you know, a lot of people call it the easy way out because living's hard.
Yeah.
Life sucks.
Living is harder, but yeah.
Life's also beautiful, but it can suck sometimes.
Yeah, it can be really freaking great.
The ability to forget anything in ADHD means a checklist is required.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, if you have a bad memory, write things down. That's what
I usually, or I used
helps.
to, and I want to go back to this, but I keep not doing it. Part of the way that I was able to survive school was just writing everything on my wrist and the back of my hand. So I always had a to-do list on the back of my hand and on my wrist, and that was like one of the things that got me through partially college, but mostly high school. Was just always having it like written down physically on me.
Which I don't think you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
but...
probably not. I'm sure I absorbed so much ink through my skin.
I mean,
but I haven't died yet, so.
Yeah, you turned out okay.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, it is a complex area of emotions. Here said, I used to about 2 years ago have an emotional breakdown every second month because I get to states when I start thinking about love and stuff to do with dating, and I start to spiral down a hole. But I'm better now. I don't break down as much anymore, but I now tend to write it all out. Yeah, that's another thing, like journaling can help a lot. Definitely, like I've had that recommended to me, and I've done it before. Like I don't always do it, but it definitely helps to, like, especially if you don't really have a lot of like close friends or support network, to at least just get all your thoughts and feelings down like on a piece of paper. And sometimes it just helps just getting it out and not having it like all bottled up, because that can, you know, lead to problems down the road.
For me, I've realized that it's better to write down positives than negatives, or if I do write negatives, I have to get rid of them. Like I can't have them be around or I'll dwell on them. Does that make sense? Like one of the things that I'm having a Twitter discussion with someone, but they were talking about like you know, one of those like do what makes you happy things, and it's like I forget what makes me happy all the time. And so I had to like, I've lost it now, so I've had to restart it, but it's like I keep a list on my phone of things that like I actually enjoy but that I forget that I enjoy, like going to movies or like going to places with friends, which sucks because none of that's even possible now with the pandemic. But it's like it's a lot of it is things where it's like I think I'm not going to enjoy it because it requires effort to start it. Or like learning a new program. I love when I know a new program, but not learning it. And it's like you have to remember, it's like the good outweighs the bad. You just have to put in the effort to start it.
Yeah, and like with me having bipolar disorder, like I've experienced depression and mania.
Yeah, you have like you have the full roller coaster.
I've got the full rotation, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, so I kind of know what you're feeling, what you're saying when you say when you're in a depressive state. For me, it wasn't so much being sad, because a lot of people say, "Oh, you're just sad, just, you know, cheer up," which I hate when they say that. But anyway, it's not, for me. It's not so much sad as just a total lack of emotion.
It's like a lack of wanting,
like being dull. Yeah. Like you just don't want any, like
you don't want anything, and that's the worst, because it's like all of the things that would normally make me happy, I don't want to do any of them, and I know that like even if I do them, even if I try, I don't want them. It's an inability to be happy because you don't want anything. And that's one of those things where it sounds like it would be bliss, and it's like, oh, you're free because you don't want anything.
No,
it's
it
like
sucks.
no, there's nothing. There is nothing. It's just like nothing.
When I'm depressed, all I want usually is to do nothing, to sleep. Like
for time to move fast, to take a break from existing.
There's a time when like I was depressed, and literally the only thing I would look forward to was sleeping.
Yeah, it's like you wake up and it's like, oh, I can't wait to go to sleep again.
Yep, and so like, and that's just the thing. It's, you know, there's a lot of ways to counter it. And I think the biggest thing is just to do stuff. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, just start doing
it's almost
something.
like distracting yourself.
And it does. It distracts you, but over time, it will help you. Now, also, exercise help, but that's kind of a catch-22 because when you're depressed, you don't want to exercise at all.
You don't want to do anything.
You really don't want to do anything.
It's like there was a post that was going around where this one girl was like, yeah, I'm brushing my teeth for the first time in 3 weeks. And everyone was like, yeah, I'm so proud of you. And someone was like complaining and being like, what is wrong with people? Can you believe the internet? And everyone was sharing it with you all say you support mental health or people with mental health issues until someone has to go through a mental health issue. And it's like, yeah, you don't want to brush your teeth for like a month. You don't want to change into pajamas or change out of pajamas or
cook,
take a shower
or clean
or take care of yourself in any way.
And eating can go either way. You can either you just eat everything like crazy, or you just have no appetite at all, like you don't want to eat anything. It depends on the person,
but it's like full swings. For me, it's kind of funny because I feel like when I'm depressed I eat more, but I actually gained weight when I started antidepressants, which is kind of funny.
I think that's common though.
It's really normal. It's super normal.
With my medication, I had also gained weight, and that's like a common side effect. And that's another thing, like side effects of medication.
I was totally fine with it though, because it's like I'd rather be like chubby and happy than like thin
and sad.
Sad.
That's true.
I was like, I am totally okay with this. I'd rather be like 30 pounds more and enjoy the food that I'm eating than completely miserable.
All right, let's try to catch up with the chat here.
Go for it.
Do you know Dementors in the Harry Potter series is a representation of depression for JK?
That makes a lot of sense.
Let's see, which one was that? This one.
That makes a lot of sense. Because like,
got all the Harry Potter books right here.
The way that they like suck out your soul in the movie is
like they take out all your happy thoughts. Let's get that back in there. Okay. That's cool. I didn't know that, but that makes sense. Sports a key to the locks and chains that are dragging you down. I like that. Echo, do you still write yourself positive notes to your future self on your phone?
I do! Oh, I'm surprised you remember that. I've got one coming up that I haven't looked at yet because it's coming up on my birthday, so I haven't looked at it.
And yes, Tombster, that's been hard during the pandemic, trying to remember the positives that happened before the pandemic.
Especially when you don't have your support network immediately there. Like when you don't have your people.
Yeah, when it's just you alone, it's tough.
It sucks.
Mel says, I'm the same. Ill sleep for days at a time when it gets bad. People don't realize that's what depression mostly is. Depression isn't mostly being sad, it's simply absence of emotion. Exactly. Yeah. Started to exercise as a personal challenge for the year, just 4 days a week, and it's helping my mood. Yeah, it does. I actually read a book about that, like most of the way. I didn't read the whole book, but about how I think it was called like the upward spiral, and it was mostly about. I mean, a big topic of it was how exercise can really help because, I mean, you're doing something, but also just the physical activity of exercising like releases endorphins and
I hate how effective exercising is because I hate exercising.
I know,
so much.
I don't like it either. But like it's really good for you, and it'll help you lose weight. It also helps you to think like, hey, I did something good today, and then if you start looking better, getting fit, you feel better,
sleep easier.
You sleep better, you have more energy. Like there's so many positive effects. It's just I think the hardest part for me is just doing it.
I've realized that I hate cardio more than I hate like muscle building. I forget what it's called.
Weight training.
And I think part of that is just because of the way that my body is built. I handle like weight training better than I do cardio.
Yeah.
I hate cardio.
Yeah,
but, like, I could lift weights easily.
I hate running. I had asthma when I was younger, so sometimes like really high intensity stuff, like I get really like winded, and that makes it tough. But
yeah. Which sucks because cardio is how you lose weight. Did you know that like the majority of the weight that you actually lose is exhaled as carbon dioxide? That's where the weight is going. Like, have you ever wondered where your weight goes when you lose it? You breathe it out.
Nice.
It's your body processes it all and then breathes it out as carbon dioxide, getting exhaled through your lungs.
Yeah, because it's aerobic, so it's using oxygen, taking in oxygen.
So it's like all of those
Converting.
fat cells are broken down, and they like work their way through the whole system, and then your lungs take in oxygen, and then convert it to CO2. You breathe out your fat. That's why it's like once your heart rate reaches a certain point, there's no point in going anymore. You have to like maintain a certain heart rate because you're not going to be breathing any faster if you work harder. In terms of weight loss.
Yeah, I didn't know that. It makes sense.
I looked
I
it
always
up because I
thought
was like, where does the weight go?
I thought it just
when
like
you lose it?
turned to sweat because they say make the fat cry.
Yeah, it's like the only thing you lose when you sweat is just water.
Yeah, that's why I hate like the people that go to. I mean, if you do this, it's fine. But like personally, I wouldn't do it. Where the people who wear like heavy like jackets and like so much clothing when they go
For, like,
work out,
compression
so that
stuff
they
and
just
all
like
that.
like lose as much water as possible. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
you're
like
just dehydrating yourself.
yeah, you're
that
losing
way.
water, but as soon as
I mean,
as soon as you
water
drink
weight
water,
is weight, but
you're gonna get it back. I mean, I know like
I know
it's
people
a,
who
it's
do
a
it
different
for like weight.
yeah,
classes
it's
and
a
stuff
different
like
thing
that.
for like MMA fighters and people
Yeah.
who like do it professionally. Like I'm still not saying it's good, but yeah. Okay, let's see. Either binging or 3,000 calories or eating nothing. Yep.
Yeah.
Sometimes saying this is all I gotta do helps me do everything. That helps. Breaking things down. If you have a big thing, break it into smaller pieces and just do one piece. Just do the first piece. A lot of times, like half the thing is just getting started with it. And so
another thing that a friend of mine taught me is to make a to-done list, which I really like.
done.
A to-done list, because it's like if you just have a list of like all these things that you still have to do, but they require like my uncle says every job is 3 jobs. So it's like anytime you want to do something, there's a bunch of stuff you have to do before you can do that. So it's like if you want to vacuum first, you have to empty out the vacuum cleaner. But if you empty out the vacuum cleaner, you can't check off that vacuumed the house box. But you can say emptied out the vacuum cleaner. And like, so you should, like, along with your to-do list, write down everything you did do so that you can just acknowledge mentally all of the stuff you have done. And a lot of the time it's like there is stuff that I'm doing, I just don't realize I'm doing it. Like yesterday I felt I'm supposed to be working on this video, but I ended up like not really editing it much yesterday, and then I realized afterwards it's because I spent all day learning a new software, which is like, that's still a thing that is really valuable to do, and especially for my profession and everything, it's worth doing. But I have to like look at it in a more positive light, even though I didn't get as much done of the other thing. It's like you were saying, always have 2 things.
Yeah,
procrastinate one.
Yeah, always be working on 2 things at once so you can procrastinate on one by doing the other. That helps me out.
Yeah. That's essentially what I was doing.
Yeah, didn't know read the fat out. Eating helps your stuff a lot more than I ever thought when I was younger, and yet now, though I'm not as perfect as I want, I can tell more now than ever how I feel because of what I eat.
Yes,
yeah,
that's another thing.
What
Eat
you eat
nutrient
definitely.
dense.
Yeah,
Don't go for calories.
if I eat like junk food for like a week, I just feel terrible.
One of the best weeks I recently had, I was juicing, but like not in terms of like replacing food with juice. I was just drinking.
Adding juice on the
side.
side.
In the morning when I was eating breakfast, I added like I bought a juicer and I was making like, it was like kale, bok choy, celery, carrots, an orange, an apple, all these different like greens and stuff. And so I was juicing and drinking like a giant tall glass of like super nutrient dense like stuff along with all the other food. And I was like, I feel completely normal. I don't understand. And then I stopped doing it for a week and I felt miserable. And I was just like, wow, that actually made me feel a lot better than I realized.
Also, I started antidepressants in high school. Gaining weight out of nowhere in high school was the worst. It made me want to stop taking them. I'm really glad I didn't. Yeah. I wanted to.
That's so relatable.
I wanted to stop too, but then I'm glad I didn't. Done list like that. Such a good idea. If I have a list I do better, I make a list that literally has eat breakfast, get dressed, put on shoes.
I always put like
I like that, Steve.
MR, which is like my morning routine, which is like get up and do the morning things.
Do the morning.
Yeah.
Yay. My problem is just waking up in the morning.
Yeah. My medication has affected my sleep so much. It sucks. I used to be so very good at sleeping, and now it's just I'll sleep till 10, 9 a.m. And it's like I used to get up at like 7 on the weekends for no reason other than I like being awake in the morning. Now it's just like impossible.
Incorporate that to done. I've made a small list named just as so. Saying is saying, doing is doing. Sure.
I like it.
When I'm in school, I think about what I need to do in class for the hour, and I say, let's do blank now, and then do blank after, and we can do blank after that. Yeah, I mean, making a schedule.
Like focusing on one.
Yeah, just focus on one thing at a time, and then knock it out, go to the next thing. Helps you get stuff done. That's the most important part about juicing. It should be done alongside normal diet like Echo did. Rapid weight loss is always unhealthy, and you will gain it back so fast. Hey, we're caught up with chat. Yay.
Yay. Nutrient dense. Always go for like high nutrient.
Do not drink only celery juice for
Yeah, that's not good.
That's not good for you.
That's not good. Your body's just gonna melt. You're gonna feel like crap.
Oh, what was that show we watched? You? Did you watch that show You on Netflix?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
I don't think I'm gonna watch it. I've heard.
There's one part where he's like is drinking celery juice and then he just like throws up, like he feels awful.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. But adding like a nutrient dense juice to just your normal day stuff really does make you feel so much better. Because you're getting like all of this stuff, or like more like vitamins and minerals and everything you actually need to function as a machine.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I guess we can kind of talk a little bit about our experiences, like personal experiences.
How was okay? So your stuff was very sudden. Mine was like lifelong.
Yeah. Well, part of it was sudden. But yeah,
was it something that you knew you had beforehand?
No. So I had bipolar disorder, like I said. I had bipolar 1, and I was diagnosed with it when I was 25, I think. Maybe 26.
Yeah, about.
And the reason it happened was because I basically at some point wound up in a manic episode, which is essentially a it's kind of hard to describe, but it's kind of like your brain, like my brain was just going so fast,
like over processing.
I couldn't sleep. I was like staying up all night. I was like thinking like, oh, I'm gonna do all this.
I remember you sent me a text.
Yeah.
I remember you were like, oh, I need you to do some graphic design stuff for me.
Yeah, that's
and
another.
And I was like, oh, it was like for a business proposal or something or other. And I was like,
yeah,
oh yeah,
I
okay,
literally.
sure. But you sent me a text at like 3 a.m. or something.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I'd stay up all night and like I was texting like everyone. I was calling people. I was like,
and then it was like the next day. It was like, it's changed. It's something else now. And then it was like the day after that, Betsy reached out to me and was like, I don't know what to do. Dan's being weird. And
yeah,
like,
well, that's the scary thing is we had no idea what was happening because like I wasn't diagnosed at that point, and I wasn't on any medication or anything.
It's not something that you see
and
it's not
something people really know about. And so like basically I was just off my rails. I was like blabbering like an idiot like all the time, but I thought I was like the most
everything seems coherent.
Like I didn't feel like I was like God, but like maybe just below it. Like it was like
a tycoon.
Crazy. And a lot of people who've experienced mania or experienced manic episodes, it is a very euphoric experience. So you will feel like really good about everything. And
meanwhile, you're just a full tornado.
Oh yeah, you're just like you feel like overconfident, and just like it like not necessarily insane, but like kind of insane. Like you're just like off the rails, like I said. And then basically what happened was like this was going on, and my wife was here and didn't know what to do and was calling all these places, called my parents, I think, and eventually got in touch with a like mental health facility. And I went in there for that, and it wasn't like an actual like mental health hospital. It was more of like a place for people who are at risk of like harming themselves or others. Which I was at the time because I don't know, I was like all crazy. Like I was all over the place. I didn't know what was going on. And so I went to that facility and they said, okay, we'll do like an overnight study. and we'll keep him here for 24 hours because he seems to be like a danger to himself and to other people. So they did that, and then the next, and like literally, I remember going to the place, and then I think they gave me some kind of medication,
Something to help
and
stabilize.
I literally just don't remember like from that, because again, I was really sleep deprived, and I think that maybe affected my memory
that
of
full
it.
on affected your memory.
So I literally like just don't remember from like that point until like maybe a few days later. I was in a mental health hospital.
It's like,
and I was there for about a week, 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks, until they finally like. I mean, we tried different medication, and then they released me, and then I was like better, right? I was like stable, but then like shortly after, maybe like a few weeks to a month after, I fell into depression, and I was in really bad depression for several months. And then I kind of like worked out of it, and then I was stable for like a year, and then I had another manic episode. So that happened, and then I was back in the mental hospital, and then we tried other medications. And then I came out of it, and then I was depressed again, because that's kind of common, is after mania you fall down, and then you kind of can fall down into depression. And
I feel
then
like
I've slowly like worked out of that, so now I'm like normal again, or like stable.
Mm-hmm.
And
I feel like that's another thing
pretty much what happened.
that was probably really difficult for you in terms of like being medicated, is that you were getting back to a normal state. So it's one of those things where it's like you had like a stable mentality for like before this manic episode and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like at that point, after going through everything, you're trying to get back to that. Whereas for me, having had depression my whole life and then suddenly being on medication and knowing what it's like to have that like mental stability, it was like, wow, this is great, this is incredible. But I almost feel like when you were first starting, it was like even more difficult because you already knew what it was like to have that. You'd already had that mental stability, and so it was like losing something you'd already had.
Yeah, and for me, the hardest part was like I kept trying to get back to how things were, but I was never gonna get there because it was different, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I kept like, I guess, just trying to compare myself to how I was before, and just constantly like being upset with myself and disappointed, which led to a lot of like self-hatred and self-harm and stuff. And
It reminds me a lot of, this is a terrible analogy, but it reminds me a lot of like when people lose their hair or get wrinkles, or like the effects of aging that can't be undone, because it's like that was the past and this is the now. And it's like you can't compare yourself to like how you were in your youth when you had all of this energy and the brain processes and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's gone, and that's just how it's going to be now. And like it sucks, but that's just kind of part of aging. That's fairly normal, I feel like.
Yeah.
What do you see?
So, and then let's see. So Gear said I was diagnosed with social anxiety, borderline insomnia. Yeah, I actually had insomnia too. I have to say
that was the other thing I was going to mention.
And depression at the age of 13. I just started high school, but I've been doing okay apart from the stuff that's happening in my brain. Yep. I mean, sometimes it's just like a chemical. That's literally, it's just a chemical imbalance in your brain. Like, you don't ever want to think of like a mental illness as like debilitating. I mean, sometimes it can be, obviously, but like you want to think of it as just like I said, like a chemical imbalance. Like there's something just wrong in the brain, like chemically, and there's medications that can help that, and also other things you can do. Exercise helps that, for example.
It really sucks.
And then ADHD is really a beast because of all the extra stuff that comes with it.
Yes, like the hyperfixation.
Executive dysfunction, RDD. And I'm not sure what RDD is.
I think it's retention. No.
Dude, what's RDD?
Yes, what is RDD? I feel like I know this and I don't.
It's so important that people know the difference, but people think manic means being weird and different to normal reactions. Yes.
Oh, that's another one. Okay, you know what? I think
that's another
bipolar
term.
is one of the. I think bipolar, the Overton window for bipolar is shifting, but it's one of those things where it's like manic is another one that people are starting to use in just common language like OCD, which is a mischaracterization of what it actually means.
Right, and like that's why I love that
Yes,
TikTok,
that TikTok,
by
yes.
Andrew Russo. He did one of like bipolar, and it's so funny. I'll try to, maybe I can send a link to that later.
Yeah.
Rejection dysmorphia disorder.
Oh.
I'm not sure what that is.
I'm not sure what
I've never heard that
is.
before.
But
then
there's...
James said, I recognize everything that was the cause of my anger issues from when I was in school, and I'm surprised and upset now for the lack of recognition when it was happening as it led to a false diagnosis.
That's another one. I have a friend who has, so he has depression, but instead of manifesting in like, I don't want to say sadness, but like that nothingness, it manifests in anger, which really sucks because he has these really intense anger episodes where it's like he's very destructive, and it's like that sucks. And it's another way that it can manifest. So it's like that's one that like there's a lot of like there's a disconnect where it's like, oh, you have depression, that's why you're being angry and destructive, and it's like those are two things that you wouldn't normally think go together, but it's like, yeah, it can be a symptom of depression because you're just not processing the serotonin.
Yeah. So the RDD, so that means that any
body dysmorphia is another one.
Any minor mistakes becomes massive. You suck. So friends saying I can't come, I have plans means I hate you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's dysmorphia. Yeah, you said dysmorphia. Oh, yeah, dimorphia.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
dysmorphia.
yeah.
Okay. Body dysmorphia is a tough. What is body dysmorphia?
Body dysmorphia is essentially when you don't see yourself as like a good example that I immediately think of. There was an episode where it was like have you ever heard of How to Look Good Naked? Have you ever heard that show? It's a show.
I haven't heard of the show.
What it's meant to do is just help people who have like lower self-esteem or body dysmorphia kind of break out of that. And one of the things that they have them do is that they like for one woman they had this like a row of women, and it's like each one was like 20 pounds more than the one before, so it was like women of different sizes, and they told her like go stand where you think you belong on this spectrum of people, and she went and stood like too far up on the spectrum. Like she actually thought that she fit like between these two people, and they were like no, you belong way over here. And it's like she physically saw herself as weighing a lot more than she actually did. And it's like, so you literally, you don't see your body the way it actually is. Like, you know how it's hard to tell if like what you look like or if you're objectively attractive, or like how to compare yourself to other people because you see your face so much. It's like saying a word over and over and over until it loses its meaning. You see your own face and your own body so much that it can lose its meaning, and then you objectively can't compare yourself to other people. So you just like mentally don't know what you look like, and you know, so when your brain is like you're ugly, you lean that way and think you're ugly, you're fatter, you're too tall, too short, too skinny, too like different looking. So it's like you literally can't tell what you look like.
Yours got a long one. Also, I want to say that I passed my NECA level 2. NCA is the New Zealand education system that marks exams for 3. Well, congrats.
Nice.
Got my university entrance credits, so I can go university. So getting that for me was a win, because teachers all my life, bar 3 teachers, would call me stupid because I have dyslexia and I think differently than what they exert. Nice. Let's get some hype, some good job to Gear in the chat. That's awesome.
I have dyslexia. I was in special ed for it. I wanted to make a video about that, talking about being in special ed. I never went because I was just like, I can do it myself, because our special ed classes were so useless. Essentially, you go and then the teacher would just give you all of the answers, and I was like, this isn't helping me learn anything. This isn't special education. This is you giving me answers so that I can pass, and it looks like I got a good grade and know what I'm doing. So I was really angry and just kind of protested it, and so I refused to go to special ed. But I was like in the special ed class.
Yeah, dyslexia is a one. I don't have dyslexia, but
It's pretty common.
I know people that have had it.
Yeah.
Um,
That's one of the reasons I have really bad spelling. Like I was always really, really good at math, but terrible at reading and writing.
mhm.
Worse at writing, like okay at reading, but it would take me a really long time. Really good at math.
It reminds me, there's a. Sorry, I play World of Warcraft, and there's a WoW add-on that makes like all the text in the game look like weird, like Comic Sans, and I'm like, that looks so terrible. Like, but someone's like, oh, it's actually really good for people with dyslexia.
Yeah.
Because the letter, like each letter is like inverted like that, and I guess it's easier to read.
It's irritating as a graphic designer. Comic Sans is easier to read.
Yeah.
For people with dyslexia because of the way that it's handwritten.
Mm-hmm.
But I hate Comic Sans. Just as a graphic designer, I'm very anti-Comic Sans. But technically, it's easier to read Comic Sans than other typefaces because of dyslexia.
Yeah, I mean, I always use Comic Sans, right? Like, reading aloud was difficult for a long time. Yeah, I can imagine.
I always counted because I was always afraid because of how hard reading was, and we would it's like each person read a paragraph, and we'd go through, and I would count how many people whenever we had to read out loud, and I'd just count how many people and then count how many paragraphs, and I would sit there and read that one paragraph, not even listen to what everyone else was saying, and then be able to read my paragraph well because I read it like 5 times in advance. And it's like, it was very useless because I was more afraid of being embarrassed than I was actually learning what we were supposed to be learning. Mm-hmm. Which the opposite. It's like the opposite of what the teacher's trying to do.
That's how special ed was in my school too. It was just a free pass on points for teachers, but that seems like an cool project.
It was stupid.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Yeah,
I protested. It was not fun. Okay, the other thing I was going to say earlier, the longest I have ever gone without sleep was the week of Milestone, which is Betsy had to do Milestone. You know.
I know.
So the design college in Arizona State University, each of the design programs has ASU.
Devils. I don't even remember how to do it.
No, it's like that.
It's like that, right?
It's the other way. If you do it with the back of your hand, it's like a gang sign.
Oh, okay.
So
well,
you have to do it like with the front. And if you do them too close together, then that means something very different.
That becomes a
different thing.
Anyway,
so it's very close to being two very not great things.
Yeah.
Anyway, so ASU, the design college within the university, has there's graphic design, landscaping, interior design.
Industrial
design, and then I think there's one more. Yes, architecture and landscape architecture. Two different ones.
Basically, a bunch of the design majors.
Design things. But they're all competitive. So they each start with like 300 some odd students at the beginning, and then at the very end of the year, you all compete for a space of like 40 to 50 class like availability. So it's like you have to fight your other students academically.
Attack of the Goats, the Hamburger Institute. Yes, they know.
Yeah.
Fellow ASU. It's her burger.
Her burger. But yeah, so you have to like compete academically speaking to be the top 44. To be just one of, for ours it was 44.
Yeah, Betsy's was like 30, I think.
Yeah, hers was smaller. Mm-hmm. So she had like even higher competition. But it's like they include things like it's called the Milestone, but it's like 6 different I forget what it's called, qualifications, where it's like your GPA, your final exam, there was like a bunch
projects
of
and stuff.
It's like your cumulative GPA, your GPA for that year. There's a bunch of different things, but they keep it like a big secret because they don't want anyone to take advantage of it. Anyway, the week of Milestone, you just don't sleep. You just die. And I spent over an entire week, I got 8 hours of sleep broken up into 4-hour increments spread out through that week. So it was like I stayed awake for 3 days, and then slept for 4 hours, and then stayed awake for 4 days. And we were hallucinating. We were full on hallucinating.
Jeez.
Meryl and I both independently remember this conversation that we had where we were talking about how weird everything feels. And it's like we both remember this conversation happening, but it's like I remember it happening on the second floor and the basement, and she remembers it happening like on the top floor and in the print room. And it's like we were full on hallucinating while having this conversation, but we both fully remember like what exactly it felt like when we were talking about how weird it felt to not sleep for 4 days.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
That's
insane.
intense. I mean, I definitely had some all-nighters, but it wasn't like all weekers.
Yeah, it was like, oh.
That's
oh no, it
intense.
was, no, because, okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to rephrase it. It was 2 days and then 4 hours of sleep, and then I remember there was a point where I went 4 days without sleep, and I think that was
Oh
the
my
last
gosh.
bit before milestone.
How many hours is that? 100
Of
and...
40,
100?
no, 84,
Well,
right?
3 days.
72
3 days is
three.
72.
2 days
Plus
is 48.
24
No, 40.
would be 96.
96? Yeah.
That's a lot of hours.
Like,
I think you
fully
start
hallucinating.
I think you start hallucinating around like 70 hours.
Yeah, we were full on
'Cause,
hallucinating.
I think the longest I've gone is maybe like half that, like
we didn't
30
leave
something.
the studio
But
for days.
oh,
It's
84
it's the longest.
84 is 4 days. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the longest I have ever been awake in my whole life.
Is it though? Wait.
'Cause
2 days
24.
is 48.
Well, okay.
Right?
1
1
day
day
is
is 24. 2 is
2
48.
days is 48. So 48 plus 48.
Is 96.
96, yes.
I'm an engineer,
Yes.
so I know maths.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a lot.
96, I think.
48?
Yeah, well, it'd be like 100 minus 4. 96. Okay, anyway.
Anyway,
It's not a math
it was a long
stream.
time. It was a long, long time.
But yeah, let's see. Let's go. If it came to teaching the class something you wrote, I wouldn't do the whole thing. I would instead paraphrase. Oh, like with the dyslexia?
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if being left-handed affects dyslexia.
Probably.
Because you
I
are
am
left-handed.
left-handed. Yeah.
I'm right-handed. That's why I'm on the right side
Yay.
and you're on the left side. So.
Yeah, victory.
Although I guess to them, I'm on the left side and you're on the right side.
Stage left.
So.
Boom. Stage left.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, so at universities in the UK, you studied one subject for the year?
Yeah, you guys.
What? Yeah, UK is different.
So they don't have electives. This is the thing that blew my mind when I was studying illustration.
Tombsters is Left Hand Gang too.
Yeah.
With the pog champ. That's my new emote.
Nice.
Pog champ.
That was a weird thing for me. Like when you're in the UK, you just study one subject, so you don't have electives or gen eds. So it's just like just the subject, and that's all you do, which was really a bit of a culture shock for me, because we always have like general education stuff, so you have to take like a certain amount of math courses.
Like even in like elementary school, high school, college, like you're always taking like multiple subjects.
Mm-hmm.
So like
one of my favorite things about college was the electives.
Yeah,
I took like a plastics course. That was fun.
I took Asian Pacific American Studies.
Yeah. I took a really cool one about color and light.
Geology.
As one of my sciences. That's one of the places I got all my color knowledge from.
Oh, yeah, Betsy took like an art history class she really liked. I went to her class one time, and they had to do an in-class assignment, and I literally like did it with them, and I put my name as Randy Fletcher, and I turned it in.
I love it. I love it.
That was pretty funny. Yeah, in UK uni we study the same subject for 3 years. Yeah, I guess that's.
Yeah.
The US it's usually 4 years.
But there's
more.
It's like 2 years for associates, 4 years.
Yeah, if
for
you go to community
bachelor's.
college, it's usually 2 years,
And
but
then,
that's an associate's degree, which isn't the same as a bachelor's degree.
So you can't get a bachelor's degree at a community college. You have to get go to a university, which is essentially a collection of colleges. That was the thing that was also very different about the UK. Is like
it just like one?
Isn't university and college the same thing?
In the UK?
College is high school. Yes?
Most people call it uni, I've seen.
They call it uni, but it's like short for university. But I think college means, like, they have college instead of high school. Does that make sense? And then, yeah, it's like...
Jason, I was surprised for the 1 week I stayed up for the weekend was with my friends and they were scared for me, and yet I never got that bad. I think for being extroverted and then being by my side almost the whole time, even sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
it's.
crazy being in a studio full of sleep deprived 20
I can imagine.
somethings.
I remember during Betsy's milestone, she like sent me out to like get food, like.
Oh my gosh, during like
um,
midterms, like you just sleep in the studio. Like all of the students know the good places to sleep. Like under the stairwell and like on the third floor on that like little balcony thing where all the like cushions are. There was like
yeah,
one couch in the senior studio, and there was like there was one guy who would go around and he'd get pictures like of people sleeping in studio, and so he just had like this massive folder of people sleeping in just really weird places. There was one point where Meryl went to sleep on top of one of the vending machines
really.
because it was just like out of the way of people, and so she like climbed up on top of the vending machine with her blanket.
Oh,
That's
that's
another thing.
insane.
You always have like blankets and pillows
Because you
like
just
in your
sleep
because you just sleep
everywhere.
in the studio.
That's
It's
crazy.
sometimes like you're there late at night and it's like I might as well just stay here and
Too much that I had to drop out because I hated my course, so I have to save 9,000 euros. Is that euros or
no, that's
pounds?
pounds.
Pounds to apply again. Oh wow, that's great. That's I guess a good thing about U.S. colleges. You can change your major, so if you do
Yeah.
something and you hate it, you can shift to something else, and usually like you can still finish it in time.
Something I did like I
Um,
dropped out of my master's degree and they actually refunded part of my tuition,
oh, that's
which
nice.
was I wasn't expecting at all. They gave me back like 3 grand.
Um,
Um, I wasn't expecting that.
oh, Gears, I hope both of you are doing okay today. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
pretty
doing well. I'm
good.
actually gonna go grab another
Go
drink.
for it. I'll chill with
But
the people.
you can keep up.
Yeah.
I'll be right back, guys.
It's pretty cool. Like I just renewed my prescriptions today for like my antidepressants. And life is much better with them. But it's been very interesting. I feel like that's abuse. You shouldn't have to do that to pass. Honestly, like, it's one of those things where it's like we have this one professor, and it's like other people hear this, and they're very like, no, that's horrible. But we have this one professor who like makes students cry, like constantly, to the point where he's almost made me cry. And it's like he's the best professor. But part of the reason that he's so good is that he is brutally honest, like painfully honest, to the point where he will rip your projects apart metaphysically or whatever, where he's like he crushes you. And like it's one of those things where you learn from it, but you have to be able to take the criticism and the critiques that he gives. Yeah, it's a lot. It's very intense.
Yeah, did you read this one? I got worse sleep on a trip with a church group for my senior project than any other time in my life, and I was doing school and a job as well, but those 2 weeks really were the worst. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep deprivation is
It
not fun.
sucks.
Insomnia sucks too. I get that sometimes. I mean, luckily I'm on medication that helps with it now. But definitely in like high school, yeah, I would pretty like in the summers of high school, I would definitely like what I would do is I would stay up because I lived in like Havasu City, Arizona, which is really hot in the summer.
It's about as hot as it is here.
And I used to like I would stay up all night and then I would go on a bike ride at like 6 or 7 in the morning. And then I'd come home, I'd eat breakfast, and then I'd go to sleep. And then I'd wake up like just before dinner, eat dinner, stay up all night, and eat.
It's like when I started my antidepressants, sleeping was really difficult. Like getting to sleep, but also waking up in the morning was really, really hard. And so I talked to my doctor about it, and they prescribed me trazodone. Have you ever had that one?
Mm-mm.
It's another antidepressant, but it doubles as like a sleep aid. But I would take one, and what would end up happening was that I'd be able to go to sleep okay, but I would sleep until 3 in the afternoon the next day. Like I couldn't wake up at all, so I had to completely stop taking it. It would completely knock me out. Which I couldn't couldn't lose all my days.
I was
like
on
that.
when I first started on one of the medications I'm on. I was on like a higher dosage, and that was like, oof, it would knock me out, but I would sleep so long. Like I would sleep like 12, 13 hours. So then we're like, this is probably
not the best.
So we lowered the dosage, and now
Yeah.
it's about right.
I switched to melatonin, which is just like a natural.
Oh yeah.
It's just like not a vitamin.
It's like a natural like.
It's like the thing that your body actually produces when.
Like a supplement almost.
Yeah, I guess supplement makes sense. But I started taking melatonin, and it's one of those things that takes a few days to kind of like reset your sleep schedule, but that was working so much better. And then I stopped taking it for some reason. I think I just fell out of the habit, and I need to start it up again because it's one of those things that helps a lot.
Yeah. Getting to the males in my family all have insomnia. Just do my older bro, my gramps, my uncle, my younger bro, my cousin, and me. Oh, well, might be it could, I don't know if it's a genetic thing, but I mean, it could be.
My grandmother.
Or it depends on like your lifestyle, you know. It could...
My grandmother was the same way, but she also drank coffee 24/7, and then she just wouldn't sleep. She'd just stay awake until 3 a.m. She was one of those people who would read like a book a night. So whenever we went to she liked murder mysteries. So whenever we went to the thrift store, we'd just buy her like 12, like all of the ones that they had, and she'd go like burn through them. By reading like a book every other day and never sleeping.
That's rough. Gear says, when I get panic attacks the night before the first day of school, I can't fall asleep at all because of the mess that happens in my brain and everything that happens during my panic attacks. Yes, I have
panic attacks are another one.
I've had one panic attack in my life. Echo's had 2, I think.
Yes. Like
they suck. They are you literally feel like you're going to die.
You feel like you're dying.
You feel like you're dying. Like you're like I'm dying right now.
Like my heart's just gonna give out here in a sec. I'm just gonna die.
Mm-hmm. For me, it was, and we were also this week. Have each experienced sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Which can happen. Basically, what it is you wake up, but you literally can't move your body except for your eyes.
The part of your brain that paralyzes your body so you don't act out your dreams. That's supposed to turn off before the rest of you wakes up, but sometimes it happens in the opposite order, where you wake up before that's turned off, which sucks because then you can't move.
So that happened to me.
Except for your eyes.
And then I was scared to go to sleep, and I was like so scared, like I wasn't sleeping, and then like I felt myself falling asleep, and I had a panic attack because I was scared to sleep, which sounds crazy, and that's like the worst thing to have a phobia of because you have to do it every night.
Was that in high school, right?
That was in high school.
Yeah.
And then also my cousin has it really bad. Like he's had like a lot of panic. But yeah, panic attacks are terrifying. What I find funny in a dark way, I like dark humor.
That's honestly, there's a thing that Hannah was reading this one article about how it's like with the way that the internet jokes about like depression and mental anxiety and all of these like really intense things actually helps people cope. So it's dark humor is a coping method. It's a coping mechanism, and it does help.
But it was how sleep deprivation is considered cruel and unusual punishment, but it can be a normal part of life for people with mental health issues.
Yeah. Existing is cruel and unusual punishment.
Just living is some
cruel
punishment
and unusual.
Here. Yep. I've had a lot in the 17 and a half years of my life.
Like sleep paralysis or panic attacks?
I think they were talking about panic attacks.
Yeah, panic attacks are horrible. They're very, very not great. The other thing, or do you want to catch up on chat first?
So someone told me to set up to record yourself and watch it back a few times and learn what you do the most and what helps and what makes it worse, like study it. Good help. Like learning to recognize when you're...
Oh, okay.
Oh, so like kind of like record yourself like if you like before you have a panic attack and then...
Or like when you feel one coming on.
Yeah, to try to like prevent whatever like trigger that was that started it.
Talk to yourself and...
you're gonna say something?
To recognize when you're dreaming. Yeah, that makes sense. The suicidal episodes. That's something that like after having been on antidepressants and like the points where it's like I was running out of like the SSRIs in my system and like I was relapsing and stuff. When I was having those depressive episodes, I was very aware that it was a depressive episode, which is good because it helps like separate my like conscious and unconscious mind, if that makes sense. Where I can be like, okay, I feel like dying because I'm having a depressive episode. So it's like, I'm fine. I just have to deal with this for now. And it's like the one time that it happened was at VidCon, and that was horrible. Because that time I didn't completely know that it was a depressive episode, because that was actually the first time that it happened, and that's because the alcohol just wiped it out of my system. The second time, there was a point where I was like, I had like one alcoholic drink before that, and that's when I realized that I think it's gin is really bad for my medication. But there was a point where we were driving, it was like my friend was driving, and I was like, I just want to let you know that I'm having a depressive episode, and I feel like dying, and all I'm thinking about is like killing myself and all this different stuff. So I just want to like have you, it was like, just pretend it's not happening. I just want you to know that it is. But
how did they react to that?
Be normal, because I need the distraction. And it was Mac, and she was like, okay.
Yeah, that's a lot to take in.
Oh, okay. But I was like, I feel like it's almost user-friendly to be like, pretend it's not, please just be normal for a sec to help me get through it. And to be like, I'm just gonna keep going, and it's gonna happen, but it's gonna be over eventually. And I was just kind of like, keep on trucking, but so you know, that's what's in my brain right now.
Yeah, and that's like...
And I knew it was happening, and it's one of those things where I knew it was just my brain being the garbage machine that it is.
Yeah, and that's one thing I wanted to talk about too, is a lot of times people with mental illnesses, or just anyone really, like everyone has a support network. I mean, at least, you know, maybe some people don't have as, you know, that great, but most people have a support network. And a lot of times, especially with me when I was going through my bipolar episodes and depression and stuff, I think people in the network, and sometimes other people like friends or, you know, coworkers, like they want to help, but they don't know how. And so because of that, they don't. And it's not because they don't want to help, they just don't know. And that's like, it's hard, like, especially I know a lot of people that are like really like loving and caring, and you know, like they have a relative and they're like caring for them, and like they really want to help them, but they just literally just don't know how. Because a lot of times with mental illnesses, it's very internalized, and so it's hard.
And they don't understand what it feels like.
Yeah.
Because it's a really specific
That's
feeling.
why a good thing is to try to find a support group of people that might be going through the same thing that you're going through, or that have the same illness as you. Because that can help. Like I'm in a subreddit that's just for bipolar, and so it's nice to, you know, get support from
nice to
other
have
people that
you can talk to. At the same time, don't make that your only support network, because there can also be mutually assured destruction, just accidentally, which isn't great. I feel like Betsy handled everything like a champ, which I'm proud of her.
It was really tough. For
I imagine it was incredibly difficult for her as well, but I feel like she did a very good job. I'm very proud of her.
Yeah, alcohol and medication, definitely ask your doctor about it, because it might not be.
My doctor was essentially like, one drink and don't do more than that. And I was like, okay, that's
I can have like one or two, but if I have more than that, it's and then I tell my friends when I have panic attacks, like, hey, this is happening, just ignore me and act normal. Sometimes that helps. Sometimes like the attention just makes it worse, because you're like, oh god, something's happening, everyone's like looking at me, and then you get more anxiety, and you're like, and sometimes it helps to not react. And that's like what that's what Steve said, like doing nothing is a fine thing to do. You don't have
sometimes it helps
to do something to help.
Like sometimes having people pretend it's not helping helps, like get it over.
Like sometimes just having people like just treat you like a normal person and not like someone who has a mental illness. Like, hey, what's up?
But
how
at the same time, it's like it's also like, I'm letting you know this so that you don't like say something really horrible that will hurt me, because this would be very bad. Also, there was a point where like, this is a thing that like Mac was very like, I want to get a gun so that I can have a gun. And I was like, if you're gonna get a gun, I was very like, I don't want a gun in the house. I really don't want a gun in the house. But it's like, I'm not going to stand in the way of you doing what you want.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're gonna get a gun, for my comfort, you have to have a gun safe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I was like, I have depression. I have run into instances where I've had severe like suicidal ideation, yep. And if there is a gun in the house, that is incredibly unsafe for me. And it's like, if you're going to do this, you have to do it responsibly.
Yeah, that's the same thing. That's the same thing with me. I think, well, I'm probably never gonna have a gun, like, at least not for the foreseeable future.
It's unsafe if you have mental issues.
But our agreement was like, I could have a gun. We just wouldn't keep any ammo in the house.
Yeah.
So that
that's good.
It's yeah. Okay, let's read these chats a little bit.
Yeah,
when I was younger, I heard my mom has a slight fear to the dentist, and it hasn't helped but I told myself to get past the embarrassment. I told myself I'm not the worst case they're here to help. I'm the one paying for the help. Yep. I just remembered to message my support network because of you two. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences tonight. It means so much to me. Thank you too for being. Hey,
that's
thanks,
a good
Gamesters.
idea.
Thank you for being you, also.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Yeah, I want someone that will treat me like, what are you doing, but in a respectful way.
Yes.
Yeah, it's hard too, and this is something. Hold on, Attack of the Goats gotta hydrate, so I gotta drink some water real quick.
I think I'm like technically.
Yeah, we should probably do a double hydrate, right?
Yeah.
I have some water if you want it.
I'll take it there.
There you go.
Okay, that's good.
All
yeah.
Right. Yay! Cheers.
That's very cold. How is that? Just this? Did you have it in the fridge?
No, there's ice in it.
Okay.
It's like an off-brand hydro flask called Dura.
Is it
Dura
double
flask?
layered?
I got it for Christmas. Yeah, it's like my uncle got it for me. It's like a vacuum insulated steel bottle with a lot of ice, and yeah, it stays cold for like. I literally can like fill it up one day, and if I put enough ice into it, like the next day, it's just like still cold. Like 24 hours later, it's still cold, and there's still ice in it.
It's a nice bottle.
Yeah. Got to be careful with grapefruits when you take certain medications. Yeah, grapefruit seed extract is also a thing, right?
I didn't know that one. For anyone who doesn't know, grapefruit increases, what is it? It's your body's ability to absorb nutrients.
Hydrates counting for double? Yeah, I guess so.
So, yeah, if you take grapefruit with certain medications,
got a posture check.
You have to sit up straight. Is
just
that
like
how that works?
Adjust your. Oh, we got another hydrate.
Yeah, if you
oh God,
give me more
here
of
it
your
comes.
Ice water. If
we're gonna be guzzling here.
Maybe I should just go fill this up.
Yeah, why don't you go fill up your water? You're gonna need more.
Water.
Gosh. Damn it, Steve. No, it's fine. I should probably increase the cost of hydrate. Oh, that's what hydrate is. I just made a Twitch so to say hi to y'all. Oh, well, thank you. I got one of those fake hydro flasks for Christmas too. It's nice. I mean, it's not like the real, but I mean, I don't need name brand. Like, if it works, it works. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm an engineer, so it's like I look at like the practical aspect of things. Like, if it works, it works. And yeah. Okay, question for Echo. I'll wait till she gets back. There's a reason my college nickname was Damn You, Steve. Alright, well, I'll get my hydrates out while she's getting her water. I think I got 4 of them, so. There we go. 4 hydrates for Steve. Have you heard of those gallon water bottles where there's hourly reminders on the side? No, but that's kind of cool. I did used to have a water bottle that had like a little like thing you would turn and to keep track of like how much you're drinking. But I think also now, like, you know how they used to say like drink 8 cups of water a day? I think they've changed that to say now like drink when you're thirsty, basically. Like you're like, oh wow, your body has the built-in mechanism to let you know when you need to drink more water, and it's called thirst. But basically, like they found that you get a lot of like water from your food, and a lot of people thought that like drinking coffee
Oh yeah, it
and
hydrates you more than you lose.
like you need to drink water to counteract it, but there's so much water in the coffee itself that it counteracts like the diuretic effect that it has. The other question from Gear. This question I had when I was watching Echo's old sketchbook tours, and it was to do with the daydream worlds and morbid drawings. Were the morbid drawings a way for you to check on your emotions mentally, and do you still daydream about the world with the little girl and robot?
No, so originally it was kind of like an escape. I had this weird idea when I was a kid that it's like if I believed in this world enough and if I spent enough time mentally thinking about it, that I could make it real. Almost like a Matrix effect, but mind over matter, does that make sense? That I could just like make a world real in my head. But yeah, I haven't thought about it in a really long time. Like I think about it every now and then, but not really. Yeah, it was kind of like I hated this plane of existence, and I was like, I want to go to a different one, so I'm just gonna be a god within my own mind.
I mean, if it helps you escape,
yeah. So it was like, it was an escape of sorts.
Yes, coffee and tea are just flavored water.
Yes.
Fun fact, you know, like I think it was Genghis Khan's army. They used, I think it was, I don't know if this is exactly how tea was invented, but they would boil the water to kill off the evil spirits that were in it. And boiled water tastes like crap, so they would add tea leaves in it to make it taste better. That's part of why they were so successful, is because they were all healthy because they were boiling the water and not getting diseases from it
like
without knowing. So they were
smart.
onto something with
Yeah.
boiling the evil spirits, which just happened to be bacteria.
Yeah. That's like did you ever hear about the like how tea packets, the like individual tea things tea bags were invented?
Yeah, aren't those like a crime in the UK?
No.
Oh.
They're everywhere in the UK.
Oh, never mind. Maybe I don't know. I was watching this show where people were ragging on it.
Originally, the man who he sold tea, and this was back when loose leaf tea was more of a thing. But he sent out samples, and he would send them in these little like bags, the little mesh bags.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just the sample. But people were just taking the whole thing and boiling it, and they loved it so much that they just wanted to buy those.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, "Oh, okay, sure." And so that became like a whole thing because it was easier than like doing tea the old-fashioned way with like a teapot and everything.
Yep. It's more convenient, I gotta say.
The outside of tea bags are illegal? What is loose leaf tea? There's no way loose leaf tea is illegal in the UK.
Tea outside of I don't know about that. My grandma was from England, and I always remember she would always, make tea every time we were there. Earl Grey was my favorite. 2 sugars and some milk.
Another thing, the British tea is incredible because of the water, not the tea.
Yeah,
sucks.
That's why Starbucks coffee is so good, because they have really good water filtration at Starbucks. The actual coffee at Starbucks is kind of like meh.
Yeah.
But the water is filtered just so well that it's good. That's like another thing. I mean, I know this isn't really
that makes sense. Pike's Place tastes like trash.
A water stream, but water stream. But what was I gonna say? You bottled water is terrible, kind of, mostly, yes. But if you have to buy bottled water, the best kind is Dasani or Aquafina, because Dasani is made by Coke and Aquafina is made by Pepsi, and turns out they make really good filtered water for their sodas, and then they just take that water and bottle it. So like in terms of like purification, it's like that's the best. Don't buy Arrowhead, which is Nestle. Basically any Nestle is just terrible. There's I don't know. I could do a whole tier list on bottled water or something. That'd be fun.
I may have mentioned this to you. Dasani doesn't exist in the UK because they got laughed out.
Yeah. Tea leaves. Oh wait, hold on. Let's see about this thing. Generally, loose tea is much higher quality than TNT bags, as the TNT bags is the dust and leftovers versus large slices of leaves.
It makes sense.
Tea leaves are a thing.
I could
Yes,
believe
our water's better. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Also, like
there's a higher percent. It's like calcium and a bunch of different stuff, but it's like every time I go to the UK, all I want to do is just drink tons and tons of tea because it's like it's so good.
Yeah, I've only been
the
to
tea is made for their water.
I've been to the UK once, but I remember my wife's favorite drink is a chai tea latte from Starbucks. That's like her go-to at Starbucks. And she just remembers like in UK she got a chai tea latte and it was like amazing. And and then she got one back in the US. She's like, oh, it's just not the same.
It's the water. It sucks because
Yeah.
I've tried so many different times. Like I've bought like big boxes of black tea and I'll drink tea in the UK and then try and bring the rest of the box back with me to the US and it tastes like garbage. It sucks.
My friend sent me rosebud tea. Haven't tried it yet.
Ooh,
That sounds good.
That actually sounds really
As long as it's hashtag fuck Nestle.
yeah. Yeah.
I only use tea bags to be honest, but Yorkshire tea is the best.
Yorkshire tea is a very good brand. I like them a lot.
This combo of water really helps lower those depressions. Yes.
That was the other thing I was gonna mention.
Water.
With brought to you by water. Stay
Water.
hydrated.
Fire. Earth.
Oh.
Oh, that's a question I watched someone ask on the other. I watch another mental health streamer every now and then called Anxiety. She's great. But if you were a bender, if anyone's familiar with Avatar, The Last Airbender, which element would you be and why? I think that's a fun question. Hey, Harris Sizzleson is here. Oh, fun tropical shirt. Also, hey fam.
Hey.
Harry I met the other day just
Oh, cool.
showed up in my stream and was like, hey. I'm like, hey, what's up? And then gave me a follow and a sub and
Nice.
yeah, pretty cool.
Grapefruit. That was the other thing I was gonna. So you know how grapefruit and grapefruit juice, and you said grapefruit seed. Is that a
Yeah,
thing?
I think grapefruit seed extract I've heard before.
That increases your body's ability to absorb certain prescriptions, which can be bad because you can accidentally overdose.
Why did Automod hold a lull?
I have no idea.
That's weird.
You can accidentally overdose on like your own medication or even over-the-counter medications just because it increases your body's ability to absorb things. On the counter note, have you heard the thing about Halloween and charcoal and all that stuff?
Oh.
So charcoal actually like blocks your ability to absorb things. That's part of like if your dog eats chocolate, you're supposed to feed them charcoal like immediately because it'll stop their body from absorbing like any of the toxic stuff for them. Or if your dog eats anything that's really toxic, you should feed them activated charcoal because it stops your body from absorbing things. So whenever you see these like Halloween Pinterest things where it's like black ice cream or like black coffee, and it's made with like charcoal, like just tons of activated charcoal, there's always like a huge like thing in the mental health community of everyone being like, if you're on medication, don't eat them because it will stop your medication from being absorbed. So if you ever see like fun Halloween black ice cream made with activated charcoal, be careful. Don't do it. Just avoid it.
Yeah, that is weird. James said he'd love fire, but I'd probably have air, honestly. Okay.
See, I'm the opposite. I'd love to have air, but I feel like I'd be fire.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I've taken a bunch of quizzes and it always comes out either fire or air.
Yeah, I think I'm either fire or water. But I'm kind of leaning towards fire.
I like the
You can wreck your
idea
birth
of being
control,
like in birth.
apparently.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, be
That's
careful
a
with that.
medication
But...
it would stop you from absorbing.
Oh, if I did it based on Zodiac, then air element, but I would like fire too because I get cold easily and like the warm. Yeah, fire is useful, right?
I feel like
I mean, they're
fire's
all
so
useful,
useless. I feel like I would end up being a firebender.
Ever charcoal's
Just-
bad. Okay, guys, sleep not good. Okay, good night, Tubesters.
Good night.
Hey, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
Charcoal. Hey, adventurous pup, welcome in. I don't think I've seen you here
Hey.
before. Welcome to the chat, the discussion. Charcoal also makes dogs throw up the toxins.
Oh,
That's another thing
good.
it can do.
But yeah, so I always had activated charcoal on hand because at a point, Ben ate an entire box of dark chocolate toffee because I left it on the counter stupidly. Like I thought he was over that. Like we got that habit of like getting stuff off of the table out of him when he was a puppy. So I was like, oh, this box of stuff will just be fine here on the countertop. Nope, he took it down, ate the entire box while we were out.
Oh, jeez.
And it's like he'd never taken anything else off the table.
So
he was a puppy.
So did you give him charcoal?
Yes, we had to like run out and get activated charcoal, and I had to give him like 2 tablets and dog food. And he was fine, but it's one of those things where it's
crazy.
like he's of all the times he decided to break the rule and like pull food off the table. It had to be dark chocolate, which is like the highest cocoa percentage.
Yeah, that's bad. And also air, I'd be able to destroy all my enemies.
Yeah, and fly. That's a huge thing.
Yeah, fire would be on your brand, Echo.
Yeah.
It's red. You should draw us as like benders.
Yeah, I
It'd be
drew
fun.
one of my friends as a bender at a point.
We
but
could,
yeah,
because I think I would be fire too, so we could like be doing like fire together, like
fire tornadoes.
I could do
I
like
feel
the
Betsy would be
lightning,
Earth.
like like the lightning bending, and then you could do like the fire, like countering.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, no problem, Tombsters. Thanks for being here. Oh, it's Kristen from college, by the way.
Oh, hey.
Hey,
it's
how
nice
you
to see
doing?
around.
Welcome in. I'm warm-bodied, so I feel like fire. I am fine in colder weather. Dogs are awesome. Had a lot in my life, and I'm surprised I never had to own them, to love them, and to have their love be in my life. Yes, dogs are great.
Dogs are magical.
I finally, okay, so my wife's family. Oh, by the way, if you want to see our dog,
Yes.
here's our dog. I also have an emote.
He has a whole
Maybe
Instagram.
Steve can send that.
He has a whole Instagram that Betsy updates.
Oh, it didn't work. Oops.
Is that your Instagram?
Here it is. It's this one.
Oh, cutie. Yeah, he has one ear that's up and one
Gosh,
that's
I'm
down.
such a noob. Yeah, Payson's so cute. Steve, BRB, dinnering. Harry said I would want air, but I think I'd be earth.
I feel like Betsy would be
Betsy's
earth because
she might
stable.
be water.
I could see
but-
her as water. Water's
but
more
I
healing,
think-
but I feel like the stability of Betsy
Yeah,
is more
I
earth.
think she's an earth.
Betsy's very grounded, and to me that says earthbender.
Oh, we gotta hydrate. Here we go.
Yeah.
Agua. But I was thinking, what is airbending? Are you controlling oxygen? Air's a lot of elements, plus it's mostly nitrogen.
That's true. Let's not think too deeply into bending.
Yeah, I feel like air, you could just like force choke someone, like pull the air out of their lungs.
Isn't that a
and
thing that happens
suffocate
in
them?
like Legend Korra?
See, I haven't seen all of
Well,
Korra,
there's some
but-
terrifying stuff. There's like, what is it with water bending? There's blood bending,
Yeah.
which is also terrifying.
Well, there's a little bit of spoilers for people who haven't. I guess
I
that's not much of a
haven't
spoiler,
finished it either.
but-
Like I haven't gotten to that episode. I just know it's a terrifying episode within the fandom.
Yes. All my sparks. Hey, you can earn more. They're free. Also, I think if you're, not that you have to subscribe, but if you do, you get them at a faster rate, I believe.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Echo's going to be affiliated soon. She just
I'm waiting on tax forms.
She did
to
the
be
paperwork today. She has about 17 times as many followers as me on Twitch, and about 500 times as much.
Oh gosh.
No, 5,000 times.
5,000?
50,000. No, 5,000 times as much on YouTube. There's a lot. But yeah, I think people usually attribute the different elements to the states of matter.
That makes sense.
Okay, I could see
Because then
that.
it's like.
So fire is like plasma, maybe.
Yeah. I think fire is just fire. Well, yeah, fire.
Better not be lying. No, you do.
So it's liquid, solid, air, gas, and plasma. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
No, you do earn channel points at a faster rate if you're subscribed to someone
Okay.
while you're watching. I don't think you earn them at all when you're not watching. That just goes across Twitch as a whole.
Okay.
Oh, can't wait for that Echo. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, I'm very excited. I'm gonna do fun things. With
Are
it. I
you
have so
the
many
next
ideas.
Pokemon?
Yeah. I'm the next something. I have ideas.
I'm the next something.
Mm-hmm. I have ideas for things for like streams that I really want to do that I think would be really fun, but I've got to finish drawing them first. It requires a fair amount of investment time-wise up front, but it will be a lot of fun once I get it all set up.
Yeah, Harry says, I do feel like I've been earning a bunch. Yeah, if you get a sub, you definitely earn them.
Nice.
Not that anyone has to sub. That's you don't have to at all.
That's just the thing that's
it's
nice.
just you can if you want to. I'm not like, oh, we're gonna have a subathon tomorrow, 24 hours stream. I need to get 100 subs and I'll do 300 push-ups for each sub. No, I'm not like that. I just do it for fun mostly. And recently the mental health focus. So, have you seen that guy who does Nuzlocke runs for Pokemon but draws it as he goes?
Oh, that's kind of cool.
He draws each new Pokemon.
Wait, are you talking about Joe Cat?
And also every time they die.
I think. Are you talking about Joe Cat? Because he's a person who does drawings for like the Pokemon that he gets. I'm not sure though. I'm not sure then. You'll have to let me know if you find it.
I didn't know. I don't think that's his name.
I'm actually curious.
Okay. Also, if you guys have any questions about mental health or mental illnesses.
Oh yeah, Jaden Animations.
Jaden Animation. Okay. I was gonna say, feel free to ask anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be, or just any question in general. As long as it's like appropriate, right? And we'll try our best to answer you and to share our experiences. And
Moxie 2D. That's cool.
Moxie. Oh, that's another thing. Echo was thinking about getting into. What the hell are those things called? VTubers.
Yes, that's one of the things that I'm working on. That's like, so like that's the software that I'm learning is like Live 2D for like rigging VTubers. That's another thing where it's like working on custom emotes and just like GIFs and stuff for streamers. That's a thing that I might also do.
Keep in mind, need the money to pay animators for the beautiful work being made.
Yeah.
Yay, go animators. Okay, yeah, on YouTube and Twitch. Okay, so a pet peeve of mine is when people say water so they can win. Okay, back to Avatar. So they can win every fight with bloodbending. First, it's super rare to be able to bloodbend, and there's only like 3 bloodbenders that can do it whenever they want. All others can only do it on a full moon. That's true. That's true. Bloodbending is a very like specific,
that's like
rare
lightning.
skill. Yeah, lightning's another one. Like lightning, well, I think I don't know in Korra if it was more common, but at least it
was like there was only like a handful of.
Okay, at least in Avatar, like lightning bending like, was a very
be able to deflect it could kill you.
Yeah, that was the Iroh thing. I love Iroh.
He's great.
He's like my favorite. I'm not sure if you saw it in your last stream, Echo, but I had said that my Twitter is 10 cookies. That clear any confusion at all?
Let me check. I want to see your icon. The name sounds familiar.
You have your phone?
My phone's there.
Or I could just
pull
Google.
it up. Just copy and paste. Forget use dark mode.
Dude, I'm dark mode all the way. That didn't work.
No, it did not. I think you spelled it wrong.
Did I spell it wrong? I probably spelled it.
No, you spelled it right, I think.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, yes, I know you. I know your icon.
Okay. Nice. I'll drop you a follow too.
Yeah.
I talked a little sometimes. Okay. Oh, here's a question. I suppose I can pose a pertinent question. When you were going through college, what were some ways of maintaining mental, emotional health through the intensity of work? Ooh. That is a good question.
You want to hear what's kind of ridiculous? A big thing that I realized I got very lucky with was living with Betsy.
Yeah.
Like, I tend to mimic the behaviors of the people around me, and Betsy's incredibly organized and stable, and I realized that was a very positive influence. And also, I feel like being surrounded by people with like similar interests. And
yeah, if you can choose your environment, that definitely has a big impact on it. For me, let's see, when I was going through college, so I was a big procrastinator. But what I would do, so like yeah, I did have a lot of work, but before like starting on it, I would just play a video game for a while, and kind of wait till the last minute, which is not a great strategy. but
sometimes like you need the stress of the deadline.
But yeah, for mental emotional health, I guess just like it is a lot of work. But just try to find like a balance, I guess, between homework and going to class, and you've got friends, and you've got like let me see if I can remember it. I saw this like Venn diagram once, and it was like college, it was like getting good grades, sleeping, social life.
Yes.
Pick two.
I had no social life. Okay, so here's the thing. I feel like this is what ended up happening, is that social life and good grades just almost completely ended up overlapping, where it's like your social life becomes the people that you're doing your work with. Where it's like we would take classes together so that we could work on our homework and stuff together. And it's like that managed to just overlap those enough where it's like I kind of got both. So I could focus on my grades, but it was with people that I cared about, which was really fun. Like, I'd highly recommend taking classes in groups.
Yeah. If it
like
helps...
when you and Betsy took specific Asian or Pacific.
Yeah, we took Asian Pacific American Studies.
Pacific American
we also took geology together, and we took a couple of sustainability courses. Too.
Yeah. Some of the classes that I performed the worst in were the ones that I did alone.
Yeah. And definitely like just like accountability helps a lot, especially
which is like when you have other people. That's another thing. I'm terrible at accountability to myself. I'm better at accountability to other people. So when you have classes with people that you care about, you're more likely to hold yourself accountable.
Kristen said, agree. Living in the design dorms with like-minded people helped a lot, as well as de-stressing through hiking and anything outdoors. Yeah. I mean, whatever your interest might be, whether it be hiking, playing video games, watching Baileycream at Twitch TV. Whatever it might be, just incorporate that into your life. Like, don't make like college like a living hell. Like, it sucks, but like,
the hammocks.
Don't. Oh yeah, in the design building.
In the
dorm.
B dorm.
Yeah. Like just try to find a balance. Grades are not everything in life.
Yeah.
So networking and collaboration skills are built. Saying is only saying, doing is all doing. Yes. Those hammocks always broke.
Yeah, we ended up getting, because we had the fabric ones first, and those broke, and then we got the net ones, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember the funeral? I found one of the pictures of the hammock funeral we had.
Oh, I think I remember that now.
It was beautiful and cheesy. I forgot who was. It was either Sean or it was Salim who was reading like the mini eulogy.
I'm sure. Is Attack of the Goats, was that someone from college?
Was it Kristen?
No, that was the Adventurous Pup.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, either way, I took a year off for career reasons, so coming back to my grad work has been harder because I don't have as much of that group of peers. But I signed up for a course that isn't really necessary this semester, just connect with a professor in a study I enjoy. I think it'll help a lot. Yeah, that's good. Pick a, don't just pick like the really hard courses. Like pick one that you enjoy. At least have one like fun. Like I took yoga as a class once.
I took philosophy.
Yoga, Pilates.
Intro to philosophy was great.
Betsy took ballroom dancing as a class.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like have fun. Like I always maxed out my electives because I was getting my college paid for through a scholarship program, which meant that I had to keep at least, I think it was a 3.0 GPA or higher, which I believe is like a B average. But anyway, because it was going to be the same cost either way, I took a bunch of like fun electives that I was just going to enjoy. Like I learned C++, like just for fun.
Man. I wish I knew C++.
I took intro to C++. That one was fun.
Yeah, Kristen remembers the funeral. I think it was Sean.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Sean who had like the. I don't know if he was wearing the suit.
Attack of the Ghosts is Brittany.
Oh, okay. Hey.
Hey, how's it going? We got like half of the Irish B dorm in here.
Nice.
Would you guys know of a phobia in regards to not liking human body parts being wired into machinery? Example, eye for a camera or heart pumping oil along with wires wrapped around bones. It isn't like a human wanting to be a robot, but the opposite, robot wanting to be a human in a gruesome way. I've been trying to figure it out myself.
I feel like I'm pretty sure there's probably a
I'm
name
sure
for
there's
it,
a
but that's
phobia
for
for
sure
that.
on like because you see that exploited all the time in like scary movies and stuff.
Yeah, well, there's also like the uncanny valley, like you were saying. That's something where like if something is like
just
it's
human enough.
because you have something that it's so human that it's like it doesn't bother you, and then there's something that's so not human, like a really
like a box with a smiley face where it's like, oh,
yeah,
it's not
or
a
like
human,
like
but
a
it's
robot,
kind of, and it's cute.
like a very like crude robot. But then there's like a middle ground where it just becomes
where it's
creepy.
just
It's
creepy, like a teddy bear with teeth. Where
yeah,
it's like
or like a robot that's like realistic but like a little bit off.
Like too realistic and yeah.
That's
like the uncanny valley where it gets
I think that's
creepy.
unsettling to about everyone. So
yeah. So it's like there's yeah, it's like things can be highly realistic or not realistic, but if they approach this certain middle ground, you get into the uncanny valley. Nice. There's actually, it's theorized that's why so many people, especially in the graphic design community, hate Comic Sans, is because it falls in the uncanny valley of typefaces where it's not structured enough to look like a typeface, but it's not handwritten enough to register as a handwriting, like a script. So it's just uncanny enough.
Ancient Greek was his fun course. Wow.
It's
all Greek to me.
I like that.
I also took German in college.
Yeah.
And Spanish in high school. Those are fun. Ein bisschen. Ballroom dancing was one of my favorite classes. Yes. Nice. It was fun. Sophia the robot gives me serious uncanny.
Yes, she's approaching the uncanny valley.
Hold on. I'm gonna find a picture for you.
Of which one?
Of the robot. Or is it like
You've seen her, right?
I don't think I have.
Have you never seen Sophia the robot?
Really say.
Yeah. Gary, you might want to look away because this might be a trigger word. I wanted to pull up a
Sophia the robot.
Just so we know what we're talking about here.
Yeah. See, she's just.
Hold on, I
got a little uncanny.
Got a whoop, and then I got a whoop, and then I whoop, and then I whoop.
Hope you could tell I am a robot by the wires coming out
of my body. This is a robot, guys.
In 2016,
but
Sophia the robot was unveiled.
Just a little creepy.
Now the company behind her has a new
actual
vision
robot?
to mass-produce thousands of robots.
They're gonna mass-produce it? Oh no!
Saudi Arabia.
Don't do it! Oh lord!
See, she's just too human, but not human enough, and so she's just unsettling.
No, we're that's gonna be a note for me.
Yeah, she's
That's what we mean by the uncanny
that's
valley.
That's the uncanny valley. I kind of love the uncanny valley.
Yeah, it's also horrifying. I've known too many people who talked about doing stuff and never doing them because they always use the time all day planning those things and couldn't get into it until I kept them to their word and I was seen as the doer and not a planner, and that's how it can be something. Yep, that's true.
Yeah. I'm
not really a great planner, but my wife is all about that.
I'm usually pretty good, but I think I've been like I don't want to say I was that person in a group project, but I was like the medium person where it's like I did everything. I wasn't the person that did absolutely nothing, but it was like I let someone else take the lead on it.
Automatonophobia is the fear of wax figures, humanoid robots, audio animatronics, or other figures designed to represent humans. Only rarely does it become a full-blown phobia. It's relatively common to experience hesitation for nerves.
That makes sense. I remember one. Okay,
I do not like animatronics. You wouldn't like Five Nights at Freddy's then. Which country made her a citizen?
Oh.
Oh, I did. It was scary when she was on Fallon. Oh gosh. I did not know a robot could become a citizen. But...
So the two movies, everyone's got a movie that when they were a kid just terrified the crap out of them. Like, I knew someone who really hated Willy Wonka. because the Oompa Loompas just terrified them for some reason. For me, it
Mhm.
was Small Soldiers. Small Soldiers or
Oh.
Toy Soldiers?
I remember that.
Yeah, the scene with the Barbies terrified the crap out of me. I hated that one.
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's. That's what I was just saying.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then the other one that I really hated was Quest for Camelot, because there's, and that was one that I'd seen when I was really little, because there's this one scene where like the bad guy, he has like this giant pit, and he gets this one potion, and he like pours it in, and then he throws like these axes and stuff, and then one of the guys goes to like look over and see what's inside, and he kicks him in, and then he comes out fused with these like axes and stuff, and they're all like, and he does that with his like entire army, where he meshes them with weapons to make them these like half weapon creature being people, whatever. And I remember seeing that and having it like scare the crap out of me, because I hated the idea of someone taking away my hands, and like it was just one of those things where it's like that's not a thought that I had before, where like this person like this, I was like, he was forced into that. He was just looking, he was trying to look into the hole. He didn't want to do that. He was kicked into it, and now he took away his hands. He can't draw with like giant maces or axes for hands, and I was just like, that's terrible. Someone could take away your hands, and it was just like, ugh, hated it. I hated it so much.
Saudi Arabia was the one that.
Interesting.
Okay. That's Mike Kids VHS. Hugo terrified me. I don't know if I've seen.
Pull it up, or I want to see. I don't know the name.
Hugo?
The name sounds familiar, but I don't know.
Oh.
Hugo.
Oh, this one? Oh, I remember that. I never saw it though.
Yeah, that's
I'm
one
not
of
sure
the
what
ones
it's
that
about.
I know of, but didn't see.
Tunnel for going into the cartoon was horrifying, so I remember being like a scary thing from then on, as I believe nothing was scarier.
Yeah, everyone has a movie that terrified them as children.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to go over, kind of like pivot back to mental health for a minute. This is actually a question that Betsy's, my wife's aunt, what are you doing? Oh, you're typing. And it was number 1, how do you feel when others, i.e. friends, colleagues, media, call an evil person insane?
Oh yeah, that's another one that's like slowly rotating out when like people are trying to be more aware of language. It's like the so it's the same with like broken. It's like, do you like or dislike the idea of that you are broken, that your brain is broken, where it's like, because it has this like this connotation of like outside the normal, and it's like it is, but also there's nothing wrong with it, but also it's not normal.
Yes, I like what Steve says. Insane is a legal definition, not medical. Yeah.
Okay.
If you're clinically insane, that's a legal thing to determine. Like if you
Yeah,
murder
where it's,
someone
like,
while
clinically
insane,
incompetent,
then like you won't.
or not clinically, like legally not capable of being accountable for your
Right.
actions.
Yeah, for me, like, yeah, I mean, I see that in movies, like, oh, that guy's insane, but like, I guess it just depends on the context for me. Like, it doesn't bother me, I guess, that much. What bothers me more is when people like call out something that's clearly not insane as insane or crazy. Like, for example, if like, I don't know, someone like experiences like manic episode symptoms, and someone's like, "Oh, why are you acting all crazy?" You know, that goes to the next question: how should caring people with a mental illness diagnosis or not respond when insane, crazy, etc. are used to explain bad behavior?
I'm generally indifferent to them, because I recognize that this is like the evolution of language. I feel like I'm more happy when I see people try to change their vocabulary. Does that make sense?
I feel like lately I've used insane as like a good thing. Like, oh, that dude's insane. Like he's so like crazy, but
it's
like
a lot,
it's like
yeah.
a compliment. It's not like I'm saying he's like literally
Yeah.
insane. It's more like kind of like a slang almost.
Yeah.
You know, like I've heard that
It's
that
like,
happen.
have you
Like
ever
that's
seen,
fine to
have
me.
you ever seen that thing
but
where it's like someone from the past coming to the future, and it's like no, it's like teens are calling everything gay, and then people have realized that might be bad, and now everyone's calling things gay. Everyone is calling everything gay in a good way now, and it's like it just like changed like
Yeah,
meanings where it's like now it's positive.
there's an
instead of-
interesting almost like a documentary on Netflix called History of Swear Words that we just
Yeah.
watched the other day. That's really fun.
They did a good job with it.
Um,
I still feel like, this is just personal opinion, I feel like Dolly Parton would have been a better host. I feel like she could
yeah,
have
they
done
had
Bitch better
they had
than
Nicolas Cage be the host.
which was funny. It was
funny.
good. He was good, but I
But,
feel like
like,
Dolly
if-
Parton would have done the Bitch episode better
That's
than
true.
he would.
Yeah, I fucking love Dolly.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone's like Dolly Parton. Like I think it was Dolly Parton. You should just give all our tax money to her, and she can
Yes,
just
let
figure
her
out where to
decide what
put
to
it.
do with it. She would know what to do. She would fix the country.
And let's look at
There's
what.
this really great thing that someone was tweeting about how I think it's in the Jewish religion. It's something like there are 38 pillars of humanity at all times, where it's like or it might be 30 something, I don't remember, but it's like there's a group of people somewhere throughout the world at all times, and they are the ones that are like destined to hold everything together, and how like they believe that Dolly Parton is one of them. And it's like, I love that idea that Dolly Parton
Nice.
is just one of the pillars of humanity that are necessary for our survival. And it's like, oh, I love that concept. It's so great.
Okay, so I was like not even fully two, but then when I would put on scary movies and love them, I also think because of some of the behind the scenes stuff of them really took the monster's power away.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
always
that's
really,
true.
I was really bad about scary movies until I turned like.
I like hated scary movies.
I hated scary movies until I was like 25 or 6. I don't know. There was a point like later in life where I was just like, I just kind of stopped being afraid of them to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
I think that just comes with age.
Yeah.
Where, like, you get
once I got to
kinda
a point where I'm like,
jaded.
okay, none of this is real. I think that helped me.
Yeah, where it's like I can't.
But like I
I can't
remember.
recognize it as real anymore.
I remember in high school, I watched this movie called Mirrors. I don't know if any of you had seen that, but like, it was like literally like I was driving home and like I couldn't even look in my rearview mirror because I was so scared.
I've had scary movies like that. Like when there were points when we were kids. Like I remember my older sister forced us to watch Final Destination and also The Ring at a point.
Yep, that's a.
And it's
scary
like
one.
I didn't want to watch them, but she like forced us to because older siblings, you know how that is.
Yeah.
Anyway, so like I was terrified. I was so terrified of them that I actually threw up after those movies.
Oh gosh,
And it's like,
that's bad.
yeah, I was terrified of them because I still had that, I don't know, like it feels like when you're watching movies and you're younger, you can almost kind of perceive them as real and they have like more of an emotional effect on you. And then
Yeah.
as you get older, you get kind of jaded and you see like, oh, these are just actors playing parts, and I can see the script and you can see all of the pieces that go into it. And I think that just happens with like, you know, humanity. But you know, when you're growing up and you're a kid, everything feels so real. You can have like a more earnest emotional response to things. And I think that's part of the reason that I never liked scary movies. But then I got to a point where it was like, I don't fully see it as real anymore. So I can watch scary movies very easily and just enjoy them for what they are, which is really great. I found a bunch of really cool ones on
I gotta say,
Netflix.
I don't think I've seen a scary movie in like, I think the last one I saw was Get Out.
Get Out's good.
Which
I like
is
Get Out.
like, yeah, it was scary, but it was such a good movie that like
it's so written
Betsy
so
actually watched it.
well.
She hates scary movies, but she actually liked that one. But
The
yeah,
social commentary is amazing.
language is complicating. I really love etymology, I think.
Yes. Etymology.
Which is the study of like word origins. I just find that fascinating. It happened with the word appearance of otaku anime fans because of the murderer and who was otaku, and so there's a stigma over being an otaku, but over time it's changed. Oh, maybe with like
like in
language
Japan or in
evolves.
America, because I know America always had less of a stigma.
I think he's
around
talking
the
about
word
like
otaku.
Otaku's. I've never heard of that personally, but
Otaku?
mm-mm.
Otaku is just kind of like it's like the Japanese way of saying nerd or geek or
okay.
comic nerd. But it was more derogatory in Japan than it was in America. So when it came over to America, it kind of like worked through its derogatory phase
Japan,
faster than Japan.
Yeah.
But in Japan, it was like really negative.
Yeah, James, I was constantly called crazy and psycho when I was growing up. It is never as helpful. No, it's not. That's why I hate like people that are like, you're acting so crazy, and like don't use that word. Just say like it's like I think this is what I said in my response to Betsy, but like just say like hey, you know, I've noticed like you're acting
or,
like well, I would say like I've noticed like just describe like whatever action they did. Like, hey, I noticed you bought a jet ski last weekend, or like, you know, whatever it is.
Are you okay?
And I don't really like "Are you okay?" though. I feel like I'd rather say just like hey, like how are you feeling today? I think is a better way to approach it. Just because like if you say like, hey, are you okay? Like it might make them think that they're doing something wrong. Whereas like, oh, how are you feeling today? It could be, it's like more of a positive response. Yeah. But yeah, log trucks are forever ruined because of Final Destination.
What does it say?
Log trucks, because like,
oh yeah.
For me, it's the freaking drains in the swimming pool.
See, I'm fine with those. It's the what is it? The this one with like a golf ball and a fish hook.
Oh,
I'm just
I remember that one.
Yeah, don't like.
Able to stop suspending our disbelief.
The log trucks are forever.
Chunky is the only movie that scared me when I was younger.
Chucky?
Oh, I think she means Chucky. Yeah, I don't think I ever saw Chucky.
I never watched Chucky. I still haven't seen it either, old or new. I remember. Did you ever see The Langoliers? That one was a weird one that like. Even as a kid, I reckoned like it was supposed to be a scary movie, but I was more fascinated with it because the monsters look terrible. But it's one of those Stephen King things where it's like, it's really fascinating because you don't know what the monster is and you have no idea what's going on. And then when they finally show it, it's like terrible CGI tomatoes coming at you. And it's like they're just eating the world and it's like terrible.
Yeah.
And
but some scary movies are like so bad that it's like funny.
It's like Children of the Corn. Like when I watched that with my friend Meryl because she always watched like tons of scary movies.
Yeah,
and
chain chomps like, from Mario without the chain.
I was like not into scary movies in college, but I was like, we should watch something because we were watching stuff on the projector because we were in the middle of the night at studio, and so she was like, oh, I try and watch a scary movie every night leading up to Halloween, and so we watched Children of the Corn and Scary Movie because I'd never seen it, and she was like, okay, cool, we can watch it.
Yeah. I remember being told to calm down, and eventually get me pissed off enough people stop saying it. Yes. Calm down is not a good thing you should say.
Calm down's awful.
Yes, I watched Bird Box too. That was like weird.
I liked that.
It was good, I think. Like, it was weird because it's like you never like know like what actually happened. You're like, but yeah.
Yeah, you never actually.
Like a crazy thing happens, but you just like never know like what it is. Like I think I like movies that have more closure than that. But
see, that's kind of like that's one of the reasons I think I liked The Langoliers is because like they had the courage to show the monster even though it was shit. It was garbage. Come on.
We'll jump up.
He knows better than to jump.
Oh.
Huh, because you're a good behaving boy.
Hold on, dog cam.
He's a good behaving boy. Look at these little
He's a heckin' boy.
Oh, what a good heckin' boy. Oh.
Say hi, Ben. No. Oh, there he is.
He's a good.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Little baby.
Oh, he wants it. He's good.
No. He was barking earlier at like everything.
Oh my gosh, yes. Like all day. He was seeing birds and people and dogs and mail trucks outside and was not having it.
That's too high.
He's a good guard dog. Oh, there was a thing that we were just talking about before this one interrupted, and now I don't remember.
Talking about scary movies, Bird Box?
Yes, Bird Box was good. I liked Bird Box.
Oh,
that's what it was. Pull up your window. I want to pull up The Langoliers.
I
want to pull up a Langoliers.
Okay, hold on. While you're doing that, go. helped me so much. And yes, please approach people with the question, "How are you feeling?" and not just change what you're doing. Yes, I think "How are you feeling?" is a great like
How
intro.
are you feeling is good.
Like, how are you feeling? Like, it's
Okay,
not
see, look.
confrontational at all, and it shows that you have. Oh my
Do you see
god!
how bad?
Hold on,
There's
I
sun-dried
gotta.
tomatoes.
Let me show this.
Have in mind this is huge spoilers for the Langoliers. Not that it matters. This was like a horrible VHS that took like 2 different tapes, I believe.
This.
Yes. Okay. So like the whole movie is incredible.
That
It's
looks
essentially
so bad.
so. I'm gonna tell you guys the plot of the Langoliers. So this is based on a Stephen King novel about these people who are flying and they're like in this airplane, and then everyone like wakes up like they like there's a small group of people and they wake up and they look around them and there's just clothes and dentures and wigs and stuff, and it's like the majority of the crew is just gone, and so they're like, oh no, what happened? And it turns out that like everyone who was asleep on this plane, this is the cast right here, everyone who was asleep on this plane is now in this shell of reality where it's like, so it's kind of like, imagine time as like movie frames where it's like you're in the present moving through these like frames of reality, and each one is like a single cell of time, and what happens is that they got stuck in one of the cells.
Oh, it's based on a book by Stephen King.
So they're trying to get back to time, so they have to like but there's like this one guy who's like going crazy the whole time. See, that's he's like he's saying that like the Langoliers are coming to get him because he's missing his meeting, and he's like, I don't know what's going on, but he starts screaming about the Langoliers, and that's, I think this is him.
This one?
Yeah. But it's like, oh, see, look, there he's running. The CGI is so bad. They look like sun-dried tomatoes.
Is this a GIF? No.
Oh,
yeah,
wait,
that's real
let's
bad.
add GIF onto the end of there.
Oh, okay.
Do it.
You think they have
I
them?
love this movie. It's great. Yes. Okay. See?
Oh, gosh.
Do you see how bad?
That's real bad.
It's incredible. I love it so much. And it's like this, the worst CGI.
It's so bad.
But yeah, they essentially get stuck in a shell of time, stuck in the past, like in a single moment when they were flying over, and everyone else alive has moved on. They're in a different time. They're like in the present, which they're fallen out of. So they have to try and go back and fly through this like wormhole to get back to the present.
Sounds complicated.
Yeah, but it's like they run out of fuel, and so they have to refuel the plane and all this different stuff. But then they realize that time is being like, essentially what happens to these old shells is that these creatures, the Langoliers, follow behind time and eat the shells. So they eat literally all of reality, and these things are chasing them like by eating everything in the distance, and they can just, it's like they can't even see them. They just see in the distance things going away, like things being eaten by like these horrible sun-dried tomatoes, but they can't see them. It's just like the hills are just slowly disappearing and the skyline is like slowly going away, and they can tell that reality's dying, the reality's fading away, and they don't know what it is. But it turns out it's these horrible raisins with teeth.
Horrible animation of that movie reminds me of the horrible movie Birdemic.
Yes.
Never saw that one.
Yeah, Birdemic is another one, but this one was intentional.
Yeah, let's go back to mental health. When I was going through depression because of my ex, some people used to tell me I don't need a therapist, it's all in my head. Ooh, that's a terrible thing to tell someone. Made me feel like I wasn't strong enough and something was wrong with me and would make my depression worse. But my dog helped me get through. He's amazing. Yes. Pet therapy is a thing.
So this is another thing that like I haven't really talked about. So like my family is like predisposed to a fair amount of mental issues, but one of them is schizophrenia, and partnered with that is paranoia. And I've had like 3 paranoia episodes throughout my life, and they're usually when I'm living alone, or it was 3 times. So like they'll usually happen when I'm living alone, and I'll just start getting paranoid, like someone's out to get me because I feel unsafe. And having a dog who's kind of a guard dog is really, really nice. Because there's been a point where it's like I kind of was living alone, but I had a dog who barks at everything that passes by. So
Yeah.
it's like he makes sure that people don't get close to me or anything. Like when I take him out for walks and stuff, if I was like taking him on a walk in the middle of the night through a strange neighborhood, if anyone walked by me, he would just growl at them and just be like, don't get very close. And so
nice.
yeah, it was so nice. So it made me feel so much safer. Like I wasn't gonna get robbed or kidnapped or attacked or anything.
That's good. Echo, do you still have that website that was originally for Ben being best boy?
I don't think so. I don't think we have that one anymore. I don't think it's up.
The strongest thing most times is shouting you need help. Dogs hear it from your bird.
From your heart.
Heart. Oh.
They can tell.
No need
they
to yell
can...
at them, but humans can suck with the hearing, so canine help you.
I think that's part of the reason that Ben has become a guard dog is because he senses my anxiety, and so he picks up on it and thinks he needs to protect me from everything, which I kind of like. It makes me feel better.
Name to it. Oh, I like Steve. Yes, it's all in my head. That's how mental illnesses work.
Yeah.
My brain is in my head. You're not wrong. Yeah, it's like walking backwards in a video game. I'm not sure what that's
in reference to.
Birdemic, maybe, or or maybe what you were telling about the Landoliers.
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
What I can immediately think of. Was there one that you thought of?
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about suicide in particular.
Yeah. That's one that's it's. In my experience, it's easier when you are self-aware of it. When you understand when you feel suicidal because of an episode and not when you're just fully in it and fully believe everything that your brain is telling you.
Yes.
Does that make sense? Which can be really hard.
And like, what I want to get to specifically is people with suicide, like suicidal thoughts or ideation. It's hard to get help because like if you have suicidal thoughts and you go to like, you know, a place that helps you and says, hey, I have suicidal thoughts, then like by law they have to detain you because you're a harm to yourself or others.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of times people who
immediately
do have suicidal thoughts, they won't say that they have them because they're scared that they're going to be taken away and locked up because of that. So it's hard to talk about suicide to like your support group because I think there's that fear that you're gonna be like taken somewhere or they're gonna, sometimes it's a fear of judgment too, you know, you're scared that they're gonna think that so there's something wrong with you or you know, you don't want them to be sad, so you don't tell them, you know, there's a lot of things involved with that. But like the thing is like you have to talk about it.
I've actually, this is gonna sound weird, but I've had the opposite experience before, where it was like
so
the one of the times when I was at VidCon and I was having like the suicidal episode that I was going through, it was like at that night I was like freaking out, and like 4 of my friends were in the room trying to like help me not die and everything, and being like, everything's gonna be okay. It's like just like being with me, and they were putting up with all of my bullshit, and I love them for that. But the next day, when I woke up, I was like talking to one of my friends, and I was like, I think I need to call the suicide hotline because I'm having like a really bad suicidal episode. And she was like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. So I called the suicide hotline, and I was talking to her, and I was like, hey, I'm having a suicidal episode and all these different things. And she was like, I'm listening. I was like, cool, these are the problems I'm having. What do I do? And she was like, that's a tough one. And I was like, is there a place I can go? Is there something that can be done? Because I didn't understand that it was like happening because of the alcohol. I was like, I'm just having a severe like mental breakdown. And she was just like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, talk to this person who's not going through a suicidal thing. And then like my friend was like, is there a place she can go? Is there something that can be done? And she was like, no help. And there was like
Oh.
nothing. And I was like,
See,
I want
that's-
to die. Where can I go to not? Help, please. And they were just like, oh no. And it was just like,
That's like a terrible.
what the? What?
Yeah.
What?
I've had the like a complete opposite experience because I've had to call the suicide hotline before. And literally like the person I was talking to was really like good. I think it's tough because like I mean they won't get off the phone until they know you're like safe. At least that's what is supposed to happen.
Yeah, we eventually hung up
Um,
on her because we were like, you're not helping. Like, you're just trying to
Yeah.
be a helpful
I think
ear
that
to
was
lend,
just
like,
I
to
don't
lend
think
a
that's
shoulder.
usually what
And
happens.
it's like, this is garbage. And it's
Like they should be trained to like if you say like, hey, is there a place to go? They should be able, yeah, let me like connect you to resources for
it
that.
was like completely useless. This was in LA too, which I was just like, this is like one of the most like liberal states. Shouldn't you have like so much more help for people with mental issues?
Well, I think there is like a national suicide hotline.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
That may have been the
that
one
would
we
be
called.
a good one to at least like talk to someone about. There's also, depending on like what state you live in and where in the world you are, because you know there's people from UK and stuff in here. There is something, at least where we live, there's like a crisis line, and it's not like I guess you could use it as like a suicide hotline, but it's more like
Okay.
crisis, and they have a hotline and a warm line.
Okay.
So the hotline is if it's like
An
you know,
emergency.
emergency. Warm line is like, you know, maybe you're having suicidal thoughts, but you don't have like
like the ideation, the planning,
the ideation, or like you're planning it. Because that's one of the things I remember them asking me when I called. They were like, they said, yeah, you know.
I literally told her my plans, where it was like, this is what I'm thinking I'm
that's-
gonna do. This is probably the easiest way to kill myself, and this is probably the most surefire way to do it. And she was like, oh, don't do that.
Yeah, so like when I called, she's like, oh, do you have any like I was like, yeah, I have suicidal thoughts, and she said like, oh, well, how do you plan on killing yourself? Right, and I was just like I don't have a plan yet. I just like feel like I want to die, and so that was like a good question for her to ask. So it was kind of like, oh,
Yeah,
like,
it's a good way to
I
feel
don't have-
out whether or not you
but
have plans
she was able
without
to, like-
asking directly, do you have plans?
but she was able to connect me to someone who actually like came out, and we like had a conversation, and we ended up kind of like I got better.
Yeah,
but-
writing out that storm sucked. It sucked so bad.
So Adventures Pub,
Like for everyone involved.
yeah, and then also like, well, let me read this first, and then
Yeah,
I'll
go
get
for
back to it later. My ex came to me saying he was going to commit suicide and that it was my fault and is what I wanted.
just
Then I didn't hear.
manipulation.
Yeah, I didn't hear from him in weeks, and it was really hard for me. I wish I had known what to do at the time. Sometimes the flashbacks get. Yeah. I mean, did he actually commit suicide, or did he just say that, or do you just not know? Not trying to like
It's-
cry or anything. It's just
No, it's a manipulation tactic that like.
Yeah, because I'll be real, I did that in high school too. Not that specifically. Not saying like I'm gonna kill myself, but
Okay.
I had really bad relationships in high school. It's very complicated, but that is kind of, I think, more of an attention thing than
It's a bullshit.
I mean, it might not
move
be, but
that like assholes use to keep people.
yeah,
It most happens like men saying that they're suicidal and they'll kill themselves if the girl breaks up with them,
yeah,
which is really, really bullshit and manipulation.
yeah. Worse when you know
But yeah,
something's wrong and you want help but no one can help you. Yeah, that is the. I feel like she was about to go off on you. Yeah, no, I was an idiot in high school. I'll say that.
Yeah,
she didn't know me in high school, so
we're fine.
I'm
He's
good
past
now.
that.
No, I was. But I mean, everyone was kind of stupid in high school. I mean, I don't know anyone that was like, yeah, I was great.
I
in
was
high school.
great in
Well, maybe
high
Betsy,
school.
but
Betsy's the only one
she's
who
the
like did
exception,
things
though.
right. She's like she's such the exception.
But yeah, like it is worse when you know something's wrong and you want to help but no one can help you. Yeah, and that's kind of what I want to talk about. So like, like I said earlier on the stream, a few years ago, it was 2017, one of my best friends committed suicide, and he wasn't like, he was like one of the groomsmen at my wedding. You know, I was really close to him. You know, his family's, you know, been like, you know, like brothers to me. And like no one saw it coming. And the thing with him is like I literally just did not know. Like I had no idea. Like I guess one of my friends said like, yeah, he knew that he was going through a tough time in like with depression. Like he had talked to my other friend about it a little bit, and I guess his parents and maybe his brother knew a little bit about it.
Was he ever diagnosed? Did he?
Yeah, I think he was diagnosed with depression. And like we used to, I mean, he bought a house. We used to go over for like football games. Like we'd have LAN parties all the time.
Sorry, I just love Betsy's comment.
Oh yeah, I was great in high school. Yeah, I'm sure she was.
For sure.
But literally, I just didn't know. So, and I think after it happened, like I really like blamed myself a lot. Like I'm like, man, I should have been a better friend. I mean, it's a little bit of the survivor's guilt.
I've had something like that happen where it was like I had a college roommate who I found out that he'd committed suicide actually at ASU. I think when he was a freshman. But it was like shortly, like within a year after I had last seen him, or like when I had last seen him, and then I found out like 5 years later that he had killed himself, and I was like, wow, that it's a little bit of that like, oh, I could have been better to him, I guess, because it's like I really had no idea what he was going through, like that he was going through something that bad.
And I didn't know either. Like, I mean, it, like on this, like whenever we hung out, like he was perfectly fine. I'm sure he was probably like happy, like when we were around. And then, like, I remember the last time I saw him was on St. Patrick's Day, and like I came over, like we cooked the corned beef and the cabbage and the potatoes, and like we had like Irish car bombs, and like, you know, had a great time. I think we watched Always Sunny for a while. And you know, it was just, he was a great friend, and like it was so hard like losing him, because like I'd known him since high school, and like, you know, we're really close. You know, he was one of like my good friends, and it was, you know, just really tough losing him. And so I guess that's like part of why I'm trying to like get into mental health more with like people and like with my friends, just because like I don't want that to happen again.
Yeah, and you know? Being there for people, that's the other thing, is like being there for people who are going through mental issues can be, it's a lot of work, and I feel like a lot of people don't realize that it's like, it's not just like, you know, like, how are you, hope you're having a good day, and then peacing out. It's like sometimes it's sitting with someone for like 3 hours while they yell at you and tell you how much they hate everything, which is not great and it sucks, but sometimes that's what it is, which it's hard.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess just, you know, check in with your friends, because you never know.
Sincerely.
You never know what they might be going through, and that's why also I wanted to create this kind of as like a safe place for my friends to come in and say like, hey, what's up, or like if anyone's going through any issues that, you know, you might ask for advice or help or anything, just, you know, you can always DM me or message me or whatever. I'll take my time to, you know, answer you, and you know, always try to do my best, because, you know, I don't want to lose another friend like that. So okay, so back to Kristen. He said he was going to, and then I would be the last person that would feel his heartbeat. He didn't actually do it, and he got arrested for drunk driving. That's well, yeah,
that is a lot.
That situation isn't be almost as bad being on the opposite, where you're watching something happen to someone you love and you can't do anything to help them. It's devastating to watch someone go through that. Yeah,
like with Mac, when I was like, hey, I'm feeling suicidal. There's nothing you can do about it, but it's like, I need you to know this because it is happening, and it's like, just pretend it's not, please, to like help me get through it. And it's like that, it really sucks. And it sucks for them to be involved. Granted, like I felt comfortable because like they were part of my support network, and at the same time it was like, I'm not asking you to like do anything severe or like go out of your way for anything. It's more like I just want you to try and be as normal as possible. And that's easy because that's what people do by default when things are awkward, is they pretend that it's not. So it's like we're just gonna pretend everything is fine, and everything will be okay.
Yeah, high school is a hard time for most, and some don't get through it while others do, and it's quite shocking. It's sad, but you can't really tell how to feel over it if you didn't know them.
Yeah, high school's a whole different bag.
I'm thinking back on like my high school experience, and I'm like, man, maybe I was a little bipolar back then. I just didn't know it, you know?
Mm-hmm. I was full on depressed, and it makes so much sense because I was could have been on meds so much sooner. But it was one of those things where it's like my mom got me an exorcism before I got on therapy stuff. Like she was more likely to think that I was possessed by demons than to think that there might be something mentally wrong with me. So fun times when you don't have access to actual help.
It's also tough when like sometimes with people that are older that might just dismiss it immediately.
Yeah,
like,
that's the other
depression.
thing. It's like,
I went through the Great Depression.
You're sad. What do you have to be sad about?
Like,
and it's that's the other thing, is I feel like it's like what I was talking about, like the queer community, how it's like people who were previous generations tend to have different ideas about like how severe things were, and it's because they were suffering in very different ways, whereas now it's more like, let's just be open and talk about how we all feel like shit inside, and then we can get through this together. Whereas before it's like, no, you don't burden other people by doing that, and you just suffer in silence. And now we're just kind of like the exact opposite, which I feel like is healthier, even though it like this feels better, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's better to, have more research and,
to have things more accessible.
Know what things are instead of just kind of like guessing.
Yeah. And like having things in the media too. I feel like that's one of those things where everyone's like, oh, millennials like love diversity and whatnot in their TV shows and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, because that puts these things out there. Like with BoJack Horseman and like Diane gaining weight when she started taking antidepressants, and that being like part of her character development of getting better. And it's like, that's great, because that happens to a lot of people when they start taking antidepressants. And like seeing this framed in a way where it's like, this is not a bad thing, this is a normal thing, is just amazing. And so it's like having that kind of representation in media helps. It helps people really understand what's happening in real life.
I think I haven't seen a whole lot of like bipolar representation in media.
Yeah, it's still underrepresented.
I have seen there's this comedy on Hulu, I think, called Dave, which is about Lil Dicky.
I need to watch that.
And there's a character in there that has it that I think does a pretty good job. He says like, sometimes I'm crazy, sometimes I'm lazy.
Yeah, so the only bipolar that I can think of being represented is in like a CSI episode about a girl who, like, she's going through a manic episode and throws a chair through someone's window, and it's framed in a very like, oh, she's insane kind of like, she's framed as like villainous almost, which is like not an accurate representation, but it's really like going through. Oh, hi, did you get stuck?
So Chris says, it's a lot of work to be around someone with a mental illness. Had a friend leave me during my depression because he couldn't handle it. It happens sometimes.
Yeah, same.
Some people just don't know, and sometimes like they don't know how to help, or they don't want to help, or it's like too much. It can be too much for people. It can be a lot of work, like helping someone with a mental illness. So I can understand that. I haven't talked to him since. Sometimes you also have to look out for yourself at the same time, which can feel selfish at times, but it can be hard to balance both. Yeah. I know a lot of people that like want to help, but like don't know how, and like you said, like, or I guess maybe what I said.
Yeah.
Just like you got to look out for yourself too. Like I always say, like your own mental health is what should come first, in front of like other people's mental health. Which it sounds selfish, but it's really not. Like you have to.
It's kind of like a more of a bottom line where it's like if someone's falling in a hole, sometimes it doesn't make sense to fall in after them. Is that a solid analogy? Where it's like there's a point where you can't help anymore. Like, yeah, I've been in a couple situations like that where it's like I can't help you anymore until you want to help yourself, and I'm sorry I have to step away.
That's
but
the
I
thing.
Have to step
That's the thing with like therapy. We haven't really talked a lot about therapy,
Oh yeah,
but
therapy's another one.
yeah. But people say like therapy won't work unless you want it to work. If you go basically like if your attitude towards therapy is I'm this isn't gonna work, I'm not gonna do it, like it's not gonna work because you think it's not, and it won't. But if you're open to it and you have kind of an open mind, then it can really be helpful. It can really work.
I have had, so the other thing is like if you don't like a therapist in the same way that if you don't like a doctor, find a different one. I've had some garbage therapists.
Yeah.
I've had some real like talk therapy. I've had some garbage therapists, and I've also had some really incredible ones who have like understood me on a completely different level.
Yeah, it just depends on who you're. I mean, it's like a person by person basis. You might really click with someone and get a lot out of it. Someone else might not get anything.
Like I've had some who like I remember there was we had one who was like incredibly condescending, and it was almost like she was trying to diagnose us as like it felt like she didn't see us as people almost.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of it was because we were children. It was like with me and my sister after our mom had passed away, she was like trying to like help us come to terms with death. And my younger sister and I, we were like, so this was like this was when my mom was going through hospice, because it's like she had gotten to the point where it's like she is going to die eventually. And so they have like a therapist who's in the building to try and help people. And we were laughing because we found this brochure in their office that's like the road to acceptance, and then it had a picture of a boat or like a ship. We were like, apparently it's underwater. And so we were just laughing at this like ridiculous stuff. And it's like our mom is dying in the other room. We know it's happening, but we're coping with humor because we're children. And she pulled us into like, we went to like talk to her, and she was like, I thought you guys were laughing. I don't know if that's like, are you guys okay? And all this different stuff. And she like forced, like she picked at us until we like broke into tears. And it was like, let us fucking cope how we're gonna cope. Like, we're fine. We don't need you to like rip off our coping mechanisms like they're scabs. Like, oh, it was so infuriating. And then at the same time, I've had like another therapist who was like she was more like just a friend, which I think was what I really needed. And so like she said our this was like a school therapist, and she had set our appointments during lunch so that I didn't have to be around other people. And it was like, oh, she's just like an introvert, and she just doesn't like a lot of these people. And like she would just like honestly ask, like she treated me like a person instead of like a child, which I think there were a lot of therapists who I feel like didn't see me or my sister as people yet because we weren't adults. And then I've also had like therapists while like that I'm an adult who are like still learning, like who are still like new to the field. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's been all over the place. I've had like 10 different talk therapists and psychiatrists throughout my life.
Yeah. Also, God, it's so bad when people think they know what's best for you, even though they're not qualified.
That's the worst.
That's the worst. Someone's like, "Hey, you need to go do this," or like I'm pretty sure you have OCD.
Like, or they try and diagnose you.
Are you a doctor? No,
Yeah.
but I know I know Google. WebMD told me that it's
cancer.
OCD. Yeah,
it's brain cancer.
It's definitely cancer. No,
depression cancer.
There's been times I've like convinced myself I have like brain cancer or something from my symptoms.
Yeah.
Betsy said, I'm convinced when most manic episodes in the past were treated with exorcisms because they didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. Like, for real.
I
can see people thinking that it's like a weird religious problem because they didn't understand. They didn't know what was happening.
Yeah. It's the same thing with like bloodletting.
Yeah,
Like,
like all the
It just
crazy.
it leeches. They just. But yeah, that's a fair point. My friend had told me that he had witnessed his ex-girlfriend commit suicide, and he hasn't been the same since.
There's
Yeah,
a
I
lot.
can't even imagine what witnessing is like. Like I've never like witnessed, but I can tell that I mean that could give you some trauma like for
Like, I
life.
don't know
Like
if-
you get PTSD from that. You know?
mean, yeah, if it's a very sudden death, it's like with my mom, it was like a very slow, drawn out death, but it's like it was more like a self-inflicted slow death, so it was like we knew it was happening the whole time, and it was just like we tried to help her, but I just feel like she just had so much mental issues. Either didn't want to acknowledge or didn't believe were happening. I don't know why she didn't seek out something more scientific.
I don't know.
Some people just, and I feel like part of that is because she was of the previous generation. She was an older person,
Yeah,
so it was
and
like
just didn't.
it wasn't common knowledge. It wasn't a normal thing to just think that there might be something mentally wrong with it. You should see a therapist for.
And like you said, she's probably self-medicated with alcohol.
Yeah,
which,
she's no, for sure self-medicating,
Yeah.
like with weed and alcohol.
Mhm.
Like weed throughout previous parts of her life, and then alcohol just slowly in addition, and it just got worse and worse.
Kristen said being a teacher can be really hard. Yeah, imagine. Some of the things you hear can be really hard to handle. I currently have a 6-year-old first grader in my class who tried to find a knife to hurt himself, and the dad asked me to watch out for self-harm talk in my class. It's hard to see someone so young deal with that. I did go home and cry then.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah,
hard. I'm sorry you
My
have
sister
had to
and
go through that, but
my sister and I would have been like that kid. Like,
But thank you for
it's-
being a teacher.
Yeah,
Let's
thank
get
you,
some
because
get
I
some
recognize
hype for
yeah.
for Kristen for being a teacher, because that's awesome.
Yeah, my sister and I would have been like that kid. We were the kid that the teachers worried about, because they knew we were also very poor. Is the other thing is like there's all the instances of like when you see younger kids and you know that they're going through really harsh situations that kids shouldn't have to go through, and they don't know because they're kids. Like, I remember growing up and thinking like, oh, everything is normal, all this is normal, but it's like I was like wearing like the same pair of socks for like weeks and weeks, and had like holes, and we didn't have hot water, so we couldn't shower, and like just growing up in like really bad conditions that children should not have to grow up in.
Yeah, and then also like an airplane. Oh, I think when I was referring to like caring about your own mental health.
Yeah.
For someone else. Like an airplane tell you to put if the O2 mask drop on, you put on
Yes.
yours first, and then put on someone else's.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you can get hypoxia and pass out, and then you both
Yeah.
both don't make it. But yeah, going to need to watch a Disney movie before I go to bed after all this talk.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Yes. Yeah. Hopefully you have Disney Plus to
It's a
do
good
that. But,
surprisingly good service.
yeah, but we've had some good talks. We've been covering a lot of subjects, a lot of
I feel
good
like
stuff
I
here.
hope the main takeaway is it gets better. You can live everything.
Yes.
It's like you can get better. Like, I feel so much better now that I'm actually on antidepressants and I've been diagnosed, and I'm like, I figured out how to actually be stable. And it's like, I didn't get to be this normal for like 20 some odd years previously, and now it's like, oh my gosh, this is what normal is. I didn't know that.
Mhm.
I didn't know that you could function like this.
See, for me, it was like I was normal,
Mhm.
and then I wasn't.
Yeah.
And then it's like trying to get back to normal, basically.
But stability is possible. You can get stable. There's help.
And I guess like the main takeaway is just like I said, just treat your mental health first. And if you're going through a tough time, like don't be afraid to reach out to someone.
Yeah.
Like yeah, they might dismiss it. They might say no, I can't help you. They might not know how to help. But that's okay. Just try to, if you're really going through a tough time, just get with your support network. I have friends that like if they call me up in the middle of the night and like, hey, going through a tough time, like, all right, I'll get in my car, I'll drive down and help them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the pandemic has like.
Pandemic
so
is
much
definitely
difficult.
hurt. I think a lot of mental illnesses are kind of like becoming more popular because of the pandemic, because of all the hardships people have
are
gone
very
through.
aware of
The
everything
death from all the COVID deaths. I mean,
The pandemic has made things tough for sure.
antidepressant's an amazing boyfriend and dog who gets me.
Yeah,
Aw,
that's
nice.
like Ben helps a lot with my paranoia because he makes me not feel alone, which makes sense. Therapy animals.
My antidepressant is the band I listen to, and they are BTS. It's
Nice.
BTS.
The K-pop. They're like the most popular
Oh,
K-pop
is it K-pop?
band.
Oh, okay. I don't really know many K-pop.
Everyone knows BTS.
My favorites. I'm sure I'd like them if I heard them.
Yeah.
My favorites. Bring Me the Horizon.
What would you recommend of BTS for him to listen to? What's the new one that came out?
I would play it, but
Yeah, we're not gonna
there
play
is
it. But I
the
want to
DMCA thing. So
pull. Where's
yeah, internet. That's
They
Streamlabs.
they just,
There you go.
They just had a new one that like broke all those records. Used.
Echo learns how to use a computer.
I'm learning. It's been a while since I've
kidding.
used a PC. Not a.
Oh, because you're a Mac.
I'm a Mac user.
You're an Apple. I'm more of an orange.
So.
Window. Your soul. Depends. Life Goes On is the newest, but Dynamite is the record.
Is Dynamite? Yeah.
Okay, I'll listen to that later.
Yeah. This is.
Okay.
Dynamite's the one that broke all the records. So we'll just educating him on K-pop.
Yes, I have heard K-pop before because I was if people who don't know, I used to be on Mixer before Twitch.
Okay.
Then Mixer died. But back on Mixer, they didn't really give a shit about DMCA stuff, so I would just play whatever music. And like I had one guy, I think it was Kip. I haven't seen him in forever. But he would come in and he'd be like, "Oh, play K-pop." I'm like, "All right." So I played K-pop like one stream. I'm like, "That's not bad."
That's like Blackpink, right? I think they're favorite K-pop group. I don't know that much about K-pop, honestly, but I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm still stuck on Echo playing Minecraft with her trackpad.
Yup.
I saw that. I cringed a little bit.
Do you my awkward little hand?
Like how? Do you do like art and stuff with the trackpad too?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like, I mean, I more so do art with my Apple Pencil.
Get out.
But
The stream's over. Bye. No. Okay, I gotta do push-ups, but
Blackpink is good.
all right, you
Do you
keep
need
it
me
going.
to frame you
Hold
in
on.
shot?
Yeah, because Steve is showing the push-up. Yeah, if you spend 2,000 channel points, I'll do push-ups. So here we go. Oh.
Seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
It's an extra 5 for you.
Wow. Oh dear.
no. Sorry, we got this ghetto rig here.
We
with,
need to
like a
we
light
need to
bar,
tape it.
which it's really nice. The lighting
It's good
is
lighting.
a lot
I love
better,
them so much.
but,
We need to order the things because at some point I'm gonna end up stealing the Switch
yes,
back.
of course. Okay.
I'm trying not to run over your toes.
I kinda. Is that where it was?
Roughly.
Out?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Around
There
there.
you go. Exercise for mental health.
Yes.
Yeah, music is cool. Music is actually good therapy too. Yes, Blackpink. I trackpad everything too.
Haha, my trackpad buddy.
You're not the only one.
I got so used to a trackpad when I was in college with my laptop that I started to prefer it.
Yeah, I can't. I'm never playing first-person
You know
shooters.
what part of it is? It's because I'm left-handed.
Oh, that's true.
Mice are a right-handed thing.
Well, they do make left-handed mice now.
Yeah, but it's such a good pain. You have to buy a specialty.
Or
you could just
they make some that are like not unisex, but like ambidextrous.
Universal?
Like you can use it for right hand or left hand.
Yeah, but it's like then you have to like over and then.
Or you could be like my friend Ryan, who I don't think he's here tonight, but
Oh,
he's
he's still in the headphones.
he's left-handed, but
Every time he walks under, it's like he's static.
it's these boards are a little janky.
It's that, and it's him. Like every time he walks under this, static from
I think
his
he
fur.
knocks the
It's
the
static
this
from
thing.
his fur because every time he like brushes this across his back, I
What was
can
I gonna
feel it
say?
in his headphone.
Oh, he's left-handed, but he uses his right hand for a mouse.
Brian or Ryan?
Ryan.
Okay, yeah. So
One of my
like
coworkers.
normally with mice, I use my right hand, but I don't know, with trackpads, I kind of use both. Trackpads, I think it's because trackpads are more ambidextrous than mice.
Some say asking for help is a weakness, but asking for help when you're mentally weak is one's greatest strength.
Asking for help is
You two
a
are
hard
awesome. Good
freaking
night.
thing
Oh,
to-
thanks, Mom.
Good night.
Say good night
Asking
to my
for help
mom,
is one of the most
everybody.
difficult things to do.
Yes, that's the toughest thing, and that's why, like, one thing I say is, there's strength in vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it actually takes a lot of strength to make yourself vulnerable to someone else.
Yeah, it's really, and
Yeah, hard to find motivation for exercise when you're depressed, for sure. But I always feel better afterwards.
Like finding motivation for like brushing your teeth is hard. Like motivation when you're depressed is so difficult. It helps when you have like another person, like a Betsy, to help keep you on track.
Mm-hmm. I can't Fortnite and teach pad though, but trackpad and Photoshop is my jam. Yeah.
I love trackpads.
I can see how they're useful, but I just never use it. I mean, if I have to on a laptop, but that's the only.
Part of it is like I like how it's like right in front of the keypad because I use both my hands to do everything.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Oh, this is a thing though. Okay, did you know that the QWERTY? I may have pointed this out to you. The QWERTY keyboard, QWERTY style keyboard, is more left-hander friendly than right-hander friendly. Where it's like mice are good for right-handed people, but the keyboard layout, all of the most common letters in the alphabet, like E, A, S, W, like the most common keys are on the left side. And the reason for that is that when the keyboard was the layout for the keyboard was originally designed, it was designed for typewriters. And if you type too fast, the keys would lock up. So they intentionally
put more of them on the left?
All the most used keys on the left, or on the most non-dominant side to slow people down. But now that that's no longer an issue, the keyboard is actually better for left-handed people. You can type faster.
There's also like other kinds of keyboards now. There's like the two, like the ergonomic, but they move the keys around. It's so trippy. And there's also
I like those weird ones where it's like built for each of your hands, and it's like you just move your fingers and it looks ridiculous.
The craziest thing. So a court stenographer is someone who records everything they say in a court case. They don't use a normal keyboard.
They don't even use normal English.
No, they use this machine that's called a stenographic machine. And it's kind of like a keyboard,
like the fastest type.
but it's like, yeah. See what it. Oh wait, I gotta do. This is what it looks like.
Yeah, it doesn't
I'll show you
even.
guys
They don't
in a
even
second.
look at it either.
So it looks like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like each of these, like, they press combinations of those together to make like words and stuff.
Yeah.
I still don't know how it works, but like
I almost, there was a point
this
where
is what
I
it
wanted
looks
to
like.
learn it. Yeah, there was a point where I wanted to learn it because they're recording entire conversations as they happen, which requires a speed
you have to
that
go
is like
so fast that
it's inhuman. So, or like with our alphabet. So
Right.
like there are stenographers who have like their own I forget what the language is called, but it's like the way to type it and read it.
Yeah.
Microphone cording device.
Oh. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, they can.
Okay. Good night, James.
Good night.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
But yeah,
you have a good night.
There's a
and
specific
we'll see you next
language
time.
that they type in. What it's called, but it's really cool.
I'm right-handed and left-footed.
I think left-footed goofy-footed. There's like right-footed and goofy-footed.
Yeah, goofy is left, or like left foot. Yeah, I learned that in design technology class, and someone had made a keyboard just for Discord emotes.
Ooh,
that doesn't surprise me though.
I've seen some people who on Twitch they'll have like that additional little keyboard just for their emotes and stuff.
Yeah, they have like, it's called Stream Deck.
Yes.
Is another one where it doesn't just do emotes, it can also do like custom like commands and like switch scenes and like do all kinds
like
of cool
those. Those
stuff.
are cool.
I want to get one of those, but
yeah, I saw one who put like they like actually put the little things on the keypad so you could see what each one did.
Yeah,
it was really cool.
James said everything takes time, even healing.
Yeah,
it's true. It's true. We got a posture check.
Oh.
Random aside, my application was received today at the place. Nice. Congrats,
nice,
Steve.
Nice.
He just passed the professional engineering test and he's getting licensed in Arizona. And his application was received.
Nice.
So that is good. Unfortunately, he was let go last year from my company, so he's been like looking for a job for a while. But hopefully you get it soon, Steve. I know that'd be nice. Once you get the seal, that'll be really good. Huh?
Because now I want to know what it's called.
Stenographer language?
Yes.
Stenography alphabet. The hell is this?
This is
Is this like?
This is I want to say it's for writing. This is something that it's shorthand. So click the shorthand thing.
What?
This one right
here.
Yes. So it's like this is something that reporters also sometimes learn how to use, and it's a faster way to write. So if you click this, see, this is faster. So like instead of writing an A, it's like
simplifying the alphabet to make it faster.
Yeah, the thing is that like different people will have like different symbols and stuff. So
this must have been before like the machines.
Yeah.
They did it
so
this
it's
way.
like this. See, look at this. Look how crazy that is. But it's like that's easy and fast to write. But it's like different people will have different like abbreviations and language for their stuff. So sometimes you can have stenographers who they can only read their own typing. So it's like the only way to see the only way to understand the stenography printout thing that they have is if you have them to translate it. So a lot of the time they have to transcribe their typings from the court cases.
Dang. Yeah, that looks
insane.
That looks
it looks like hieroglyphics. I love it. I kind of want to learn shorthand. Just so freaking cool.
Yeah. Steve's a civil engineer, unemployed but upping the skill level. Level up. I have to go to dinner now. If I'm not back before you finish, then I hope you have a good night and the rest of your stream. Hey, thanks, Gear.
We should
Appreciate
probably
it.
take off.
Yeah, I mean, I can go on a little bit long.
You want to
say like 10:30? Okay. We'll do another like 15 minutes.
Oh, hi.
I guess it has been like 3 hours.
Oh, you're cold. Did you just come inside?
Hey, doggy.
Oh,
he
just came inside. I can tell because his fur is cold. Look at my boy. Look, try and snap up. If you snap next to it.
Betsy, can you bring Pace in?
Oh, wait. What's that?
I don't know if she will.
Have snacks.
We do have snacks.
He's just looks like a dark. Oh, do you want to show him?
Yeah.
Wait, rotate the thing.
Well, how do you show Payson without? I guess.
Do you want me to?
Oh, Echo, why don't you take Payson and
take
transfer?
Payson. Here, if you hold that up by the thing, he will look. Does it make?
Great.
This is the boy. Look at his cute face. Yeah. Here's our other doggy.
This Payson, he hates being held, and he hates
so very much.
like people.
Oh, look at him. Oh,
He's
he
little
hates
Payson.
it.
Payson, you want it? Here, let's give him a
Oh,
little
does he
treat.
want a treat?
Give
He'll
him
be
a little
happy for a
treat.
treat.
There you go.
Oh.
There we go. Good boy.
Oh, Ben is
His
staring
stressed
at the
little
treat
face.
now.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, poor boy.
He's a rescue, so we don't know what happened. But he's
He's
very shy. He's
a
small.
lot like Nana.
He's
So
only
small.
he's only 15 pounds.
No,
So
my dog is huge, like 90. Oh
And-
my boy.
okay. We'll give
Alright,
you.
I think
We'll
I'm
get.
gonna put. Holy shit! I'm gonna
We'll
put
give
the
you one
phone
more
down.
All right. Bye, Payson. There he goes. He jumps.
Hold on. Here, have another.
Oh, you can't even see him from.
Oh, I can
Okay.
summon him more. Over here.
Oh, there he is.
Damn. Look how small.
He's very small. He's only 15 pounds. All right. Let's reset.
Yeah, Ben is like 90 pounds.
Sorry.
He's like
Trying
10
to
pounds
fix the
overweight.
camera.
Oh, hi, my small boy. There you go.
That's
enough. You've already had.
What's your favorite depression food? Mine is cheese quesadilla. Mine is probably
Ooh.
Taco Bell.
Something with sugar.
I'm very like a
Ice
like a
cream,
savory
maybe?
snack kind of guy.
I'm very
I'm all about
into
chips,
carbs.
pizza. I do like ice cream too, but like
Anything with sugar. I have
no
like
carb.
very strong sweet.
Um,
Probably ice cream.
It's like a
crave
black
ice
hole with a
cream.
mouth.
Yes, he is.
All I saw was white teeth when you fed him.
And eyes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He's very.
You're so
black.
dark. You're a black hole. Black hole with teeth. I'll devour the treats.
Okay, let's put the treats up.
He's
Ah!
over here.
Ah! Sorry.
I'm over there. That's enough. You don't need any more.
I think favorite sad food for me is pho.
Oh, pho, yes.
Both. Also like.
Oh, I love ramen.
like a
I love
nice
good
ramen.
ramen. I love tonkatsu ramen. Like, I don't know if you've ever had tonkatsu broth. It's like really.
Yeah,
I think it's
I tried it
fancy.
the other day. It's good.
Yes. Oh, I was talking to them, but
Oh.
I know you've had it. Yes.
Both of the doggos are so cute.
They're
Yes,
adorable.
I
They're
like them.
good. Good companions. You're gonna be getting another one.
Yeah.
Because Payson is, or I should say Betsy is definitely Payson's human.
Yeah, we got a dog more for me, but he definitely like attached to Betsy
Yeah.
more, so it's like her dog now. So we want to get a dog
It's
that's
funny
like
too, because like
my
I feel
dog.
like she was originally indifferent, and now she's like loves him.
yeah.
So very
No,
much.
because okay, her family like never had pets growing up, and that was like okay, before we got married, we did this like marriage prep type course or whatever, and our biggest disagreement was about pets. Like I wanted them and she didn't, and it's like
And
well,
now
I guess
that she has one, it's
if that's your only disagreement, you're doing okay.
Yeah.
But like now we have it, and she's like she can't imagine without him.
which I love.
Converted.
That's adorable. I love it so much. It's like have you ever seen the thing where it's like, Dad, I don't want a dog, and then Dad now, and it's a picture of like the dad spoiling the dog, where it's like one of those things where they always they say they don't want it
Sorry,
until they have
It
it.
got a little
Did it get
twisted.
tangled?
There we go.
It's like they said they don't want it until they have it, and they realize how great it is.
Yeah. Have you ever had milky ramen?
Ooh, no.
I don't even know what that is.
Is that like tonkatsu? Because tonkatsu is like a milky, like
has like cream in the broth too.
that makes sense.
Super yummy. That sounds good.
It does sound good.
My boyfriend stole my dog when I moved in.
Oh no!
What if the next dog attaches to her also? See, that's the thing. We're gonna.
I don't think it will. Every
We're-
instance where it's like we've had, because I think dogs are like people, where it's like they pick their human and they realize if one is taken, then they'll find the other one.
Yeah, and I think we'll also like pick one that seems to like me. 'Cause
Yeah.
The thing with Payson is he was like so scared of both of us when we first got him.
There was no
So we didn't
telling.
really know what would happen, but I think just because I'm bigger and he's like
He's
so
very
small, he's like
intimidated.
scared.
He's so intimidated. It took him a long time to even warm up to like.
Yeah, and we had to teach him to like we kind of had to probably train him a little bit and like how to he didn't know how to walk on a leash because he was just like an outside dog most of the time.
Yeah. It was like when we were getting Nana with my last roommate. we went to dog shelter and like she picked out 3 that was like, okay, these are maybes. And then we went to do like introduction and we were just like standing in the open field and the first 2 dogs immediately went to me and the last one went to her and was like, okay, this is the one. And it's like that's probably gonna be like a similar situation where
I think
like,
we'll just go to like a
see-
shelter and just
you'll
like,
see which dog prefers you.
see which one like likes me, and I'll just make it my.
And that usually
I will
like,
force
that
my love
happens.
upon them.
It's like Ben. Like Ben loves you.
Yeah.
It's like you should see like Ben's face when Dan comes down the stairs.
He gets
Like
happy.
he's indifferent to Betsy because Betsy and Payson are like a unit where it's like he doesn't really like Payson and Betsy is his human, so he's just kind of like, fine, you can have that one. Just don't come near mine.
But they're getting along better than we
Yeah,
thought
they're
they
doing they're doing so much better. I thought I was gonna have to find a foster home for him for sure because they hate each other, but
yeah, we didn't.
they're
Well,
actually
when we
mutually
brought
existing.
Payson over to your house, he was
lunged.
like he was like attacking
Yeah,
Payson,
he wanted
basically.
to eat him, and I
And
was
we
just
took
like,
them to
I
the
can't
we took
have
him to the
Ben
dog
here.
park, and even still, he was like,
Yeah, which is
all
weird
on
because it's
him.
like usually outside of the house he's fine with other dogs, but then we brought them both to the dog park, and Ben was like, I hate this one, and was like lunging at him and trying to bite him and all this stuff, and I was like, oh, this is not good. And so it was like, if I'm gonna stay here, then I have to find like a foster care place for Ben or something for like a couple months to just house him. And then there was a point where like we had to have him here for like 2 days while I was waiting on a response from the Humane Society, and they mutually existed in the same space.
we're like, okay.
I was like, okay, what? Like Betsy and I didn't believe it. Like Betsy and I left to go get something, and then Dan was texting like, oh yeah, they're on the same side of the fence.
I think
it's
I
fine.
was streaming and he kept like barking, so I'm
Yeah,
like,
and you're like,
so I just let him come in here,
and
and
so
then
both of them were
Payson
in the same
was like
room.
in here.
They were in here, and Betsy and I were like, no,
They were
no.
just
We were
existing.
like, how?
Well, we kind of slowly
No.
like
Yeah, they were like in. So they have these like
broke them
baby
in.
gate dog fences
Yeah.
that are really nice. I really
Mhm.
like them. So we just had them on opposite sides at all times to make sure that they wouldn't like clash or get too close. But then like Betsy and I went out to run errands or do grocery shopping or something, and then Dan was like, "Oh yeah, they're okay. They're right here." And we were just like, "No, magic! What? No!" Because it was just unfathomable that they would be on the same side of the fence and not kill each other.
Yep, they were just chilling. Payson was like
And we
under
were like,
here, and he was like laying over there. And
how did you work this magic? And
I-
so, yeah.
I want to answer this before we wind it down. How do you feel about goodbye letters? Not suicide notes, more like messages to people if you die unexpectedly.
Oh, I like those
I think that's
kind
cool.
of things.
I think of like was it the no, not the IT. Yeah, it was the IT crowd where like the guy died and then he had like a video of himself like, "Hello, son." Like, you, I mean that's more like comedy, but
Yeah, but just like things that you set aside in case.
But I think it's
like
it's
a will.
nice.
It's like a
it's kind of like I've seen like there's this like dad who I think he had cancer or something, and he had a son or a daughter, and he wrote like notes for each of their birthdays up until like 18, and so
Yeah.
every year they opened a letter like from their dad. Like, I think that's really cool. It really,
I really
helps
like
like
that.
preserve their memory and like feel like they're still with you.
I like that. It's very wholesome. It's like when I write letters to my future self, and then find them like 2 years later, and I'm like, oh, that's nice.
I love dairy, but it kills my stomach.
Yes.
Same, but I endure
can't
the
live
pain
without
for the
dairy.
taste. Yeah, dairy doesn't affect me too bad.
It doesn't affect me apart from just being very high calorie.
That's
But it
true.
also depends on like
So
how
good.
high.
So I have
Yeah.
recently fallen in love with vegan cheese made with chickpeas
Ah.
and making pizza with it. Even melts a little. Ooh, that sounds good.
I have never tried. I've
Yeah,
heard
I'm
bad
getting-
things about
I'm
it,
getting
so I'm
hungry
hesitant.
now. Yeah, that's awesome. I've given my niece a book for every birthday and major holiday, which I've signed and wrote a message in.
Oh,
That's
I
cool.
like that.
Hope when she's older that she'll like to read.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and start kind of winding down here.
Yeah.
I want to thank everyone for being here. Thanks
Hanging
for
out
all. We
and
had
stuff.
great discussion. I'm glad it wasn't just me and Echo and the dog. So
Yeah.
thanks for coming here. We really do appreciate it. We couldn't do it without you guys. And we'll probably do this again, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
I think if we stream this next week on my channel, I'll probably just send you my stream key, and then it'll say
we could do
Baileycream
that.
all over it, but it'll be it'll be.
Or we can just do it on your.
I mean,
does that
yeah,
one
we can
have
go
a-
over there.
Yeah, we can just go. Yeah, so next week we might do it on. Or I don't know. Next week, week after, well, we'll let you know. We'll post on.
And then at
Twitter
some point,
stuff.
you should do one with Betsy and just do one that's about like being married to.
Also, here's my Discord. Everyone
Yeah.
can join it. Feel free. We got a lot of people in there, just hanging out. But I play video games a lot. This is the first just mental health stream I've actually
Second,
done.
like just chat.
Second of just chatting. I usually play like World of Warcraft. I've been playing RuneScape lately.
Oh, you've been trying
I play all
to.
kinds
What's
of
the
stuff.
anime you want?
Genshin Impact. I
Yes.
just started playing. I play a lot of
I
stuff.
play Minecraft.
Oh yeah, Minecraft is another one. I'm gonna start a Minecraft realm soon.
Yes, do that.
So
I'm very excited
if you
about
would
that.
like to play Minecraft with us, join the Discord. I will let everyone know when. Let's get that realm started. I will let you know when it's good to go. Hopefully soon. I think probably by this weekend. Hopefully, we'll have it started. I'm doing a birthday stream on Sunday. Gonna be turning.
Did your birthday fall on Sunday?
Yes, my
Okay.
birthday's on Sunday. I'm gonna be 29.
And then
Almost
we'll all
30.
be the same age for
Yes,
1 week.
and then me, my wife, and Echo will be the same age for a week, and then it's Echo's birthday.
Yeah, it's
So-
kind of cool because it's like they're both born in January. I'm born the first week of February, but I'm born 1 year prior, so we have 1
Yeah.
week where we're all the same age.
Yeah.
And then I ruin it by having my birthday.
Exactly. Yeah, Mel, I'm looking forward to it. I'm single, but I love relationship advice so very much. Yes, we could do one. We could do like a relationship advice.
You should do one. You should do one with Betsy. Yes, relationship advice in general, but also
I don't know if
you
Betsy
should
would
do
want to
one-
be on camera, but we'll
she
figure
might.
it out.
But you should do one with Betsy about like being in a relationship with someone who has mental health.
Yeah, that could be a good
Because
topic.
I feel like she would be very.
She would have a
good
lot
at
of
that.
insight on that. We could at least, we could get her in a Discord and just have her talk. Maybe she
Yeah.
might be more comfortable with that. But
You
yeah,
could honestly do one with like a bunch of your family and have them kind of talk about just like just generally being in a relationship.
Yeah, and eventually, like, if this thing evolves, like, I know, like, some people that interview, like, mental health professionals, that'd be really cool. Obviously, we're not, like, there yet, but, maybe down the road, that would be something cool to, like,
Yeah.
get new people in here and, like, have interviews or
Could you
discussions
interview
and stuff.
your own therapist? Do you think they'd?
I think there's a
professional.
like a confidentiality.
Oh
thing
yeah,
there.
okay, that makes sense.
But let me just
Maybe my
check.
therapist. My therapist.
Oh gosh, just twice.
Oh.
I just wanted to check if could I raid someone.
Who's streaming? Anyone in just chatting? You
Um,
could.
No.
You could stream or raid ASMR channel.
It's okay. We'll just kind of. Thanks, Tristan, for the early birthday. I don't play a lot of games. It makes me motion sick, but getting into Fortnite and play until I get sick. Wish I could play more. Oh well, I play Minecraft. Play that, or I play all kinds of games. So, like I said, join the Discord if you want. Give me a follow. Oh, I was gonna give Echo another shout out. Hold on, I need it. Whoa, gosh.
Oh, Echo forever.
I need to do a thing real quick though. I need this copy here.
Best boyfriend.
Here once more is Echo's channel.
Oh yeah, you got the
Got a
thing
little
torch.
dance. Yeah.
Cute.
So next time we're probably going to be on Echo's channel for this mental health thing. So go ahead and
I
give
like
her
the
a
idea of doing it
follow.
Wednesdays.
If you want to follow me, that'd be cool too. But thanks everyone for being here. It's been super awesome. Ad break. Yeah, I could do an ad break, but all right. But yeah, have a great night, everyone. Thank you again. Much love, everybody. Thanks, Lucid, for getting those subs. That was super awesome. I don't know if he's still here, but yeah, have a good night. Take care, and hope to see you guys for the next one.
Good night, Mel.
All right, good night, everybody. Stay safe.
And Sean and Kirsten and Brittany.
Yeah, all the old college pals, everyone else. Have a good night, and
I like it.
Baileycream and Echo, signing off.
Bye.
Peace.